All right, so we are going to start our accountability off. One of the amazing benefits of Ignite is that we get to hold each other accountable to doing some of the most important activities in our business, which would be talking to other people about real estate. So we're going to go through, and if you want to declare and share how many people you've talked to, you can include the weekend if you want. Our goal is to hit at least 10 a day for at least 5 days a week. So 50 for the week. And if you want to share any other great successes like pending contracts or taking a new listing, going on an appointment, anything like that, you are absolutely welcome to. Sherry, do you want to get us started?
I'm sorry, what?
Do you want to get us started with how many contacts you've made?
Well, yeah, I've talked to a few people that are definitely interested, and they're kind of in the process of, there's one gal that wants to sell her house, but she, in about a month or two, she wants to do some stuff to it. So I have her kind of on my list, but she's not ready yet. And I talked to another gal that her parents are actually going to give her $50,000 to put down on it. So that's a good
Awesome.
way. She's in the process of getting her financing in order, so she's really close. So just kind of stuff like that. Nothing set, but there's a few good leads in the works at the moment.
Great, excellent. Desiree?
Hello. So I'm really struggling doing the quantity of people that I need to do. So it's my goal to work on that. Although I've had great success with the contacts that I have made, I'm really excited. I got contacted by a friend today who is an ex-real estate agent that just took her license and got fingerprinted and probably wants to sign up with Keller Williams. So that's exciting. And I'm also talking to a friend of mine who has a bunch of real estate offices about maybe moving his offices over to Keller Williams. So that's kind of one of my goals too, is to take advantage of that, you know, the sign up. Yeah. So, and then also another exciting thing is a friend of mine asked me to keep an eye out for a house for her parents, and for what they were looking for. I thought it would be a long time before I found anything, and something just came on the market that fits their criteria perfect. So I'm excited about that.
Great.
But I do want to try hitting the quantity of numbers, and I'm going to be working on that.
Good. Continuous growth. Tina?
Okay, so this weekend was extremely busy for me. I have a listing that I've had for a week, a little over a week. And we had an open house for 4 hours on Saturday and Sunday. Met a lot of people.
Good.
And one of the people that saw the house just absolutely loved it. And that evening, her realtor texted, and they're going to come back again tonight and look at it. So I'm hoping that this is it.
Good. Fingers crossed. Exciting. Corinne?
Last week on Friday, I actually walked around the neighborhood since it was a little overcast and wasn't 100 degrees. And there was a bunch of people working in their yard. So I was able to actually meet some of my neighbors that I've been in the neighborhood for 6 years and never met. But no actual leads, but I got to meet them, handed out my business cards, and then I actually followed up today with a handwritten note saying, nice to meet you, and keep me if anything comes up.
Good.
So, yeah, that was most of my today, and then I walked a little bit around the neighborhood, gave some to my immediate neighbors that I forgot to tell that I was a real estate agent now. So
All in the follow-up. All right. Shannon? Oh, let me unmute you. Now you're unmuted.
Hi, sorry.
Okay.
Updates. I'm trying to get my picture done today. My husband's gonna do it because I have a camera, so we'll see how that goes.
Awesome.
And I just former work, I haven't really had business clothes, so that's kind of fun. I'm trying to get those.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, and then did another new agent orientation, so just kind of figuring out my foundation. Gonna try to set boundaries this week with not doing extra work so I can really get stuff done.
Good. Perfect.
Yeah.
Good job, Lisa.
Hey, sorry. It's been a little hectic this weekend, but I've been networking a little bit with a couple mortgage brokers and
Hang on, I didn't hear what you said. Just a second. Hold on.
Hold on, Danielle, I'm gonna mute you. Oh, now, here you go. You're good.
okay. And then I went and saw a vacant house that was across the street from where we live. That was nice to get in there and check it out. And yeah, that's kind of what I've been working on. I'm working with a couple other agents on helping them set up some showings too. So I'm going to be showing for the other agents. So
Awesome. Great. Good experience.
yeah.
Perfect. Ashlyn?
Hi. So I have one potential buyer that's still waiting on something to close out of state. And then I've talked to people that I work with and let them know that I'm going to be sending out business cards soon if I can get some of their information, like from coworkers and whatnot.
Good.
And I just got my photo back from my headshot. I just got it back yesterday, so I'm just looking through the pictures, and I'm gonna have one picked out today to send off with my
Awesome.
template.
Good job. Perfect. Alan?
Yeah, so I went through my contacts list and got everybody in there. It was I didn't have a lot of people's addresses, so I had to make some calls and texts.
Good.
And get that. I got my business cards on Friday, so I have all those in the mail today. So we're on
Good.
track.
Yeah, great job. That's a lot of progress. John?
Yeah, I helped out with a open house in Scappoose or St. Helens, and it was a bit overpriced, so almost no one showed up.
Oh no.
Uh,
Well, it's good experience.
yeah, I got to see how to like set one up, how to like put everything out, and what overpriced looks like. So there you go.
Yes. Good. Shayna?
The buyers that I told you guys about last week have now got their pre-approval letter in hand. So we've begun looking for places for them, which is really exciting. I've been attending a lot of trainings, which is also really exciting. And then just adding to my contact list and command.
Awesome. Great job. Margie? Danielle? Ananda?
Hey guys, how's it going? So this is my first Ignite class since I just joined. I have gone ahead and gotten my website set up as well as my app. I'm currently in the process of helping myself find a house since I just moved here, as well as my sister-in-law. And then I reached out to several contacts off of a vacants property list that I pulled, and was able to get a lead for a potential buyer in the next 3 to 6 months. And so I'll be working my way through that list. And then otherwise, I'm just trying to work through the massive amounts of tech that is available to really figure out what, my lead gen system and sales funnel needs to look like. So look forward to diving into that and getting a little bit more clarity on some of the things that have maybe worked well for other agents.
Great, good job. Andrew?
Hey everybody. I don't know if we did introductions or not. I'm Andrew. I'm from the Sunset Corridor Market Center, and I hosted 2 open houses last weekend. They were pretty slow. I only had 3 groups at one and 2 groups on the other, but had a great time chatting with all those folks. Got 2 pretty okay leads, and then I showed the client 4 houses the other day and chatted with a few people just in the vicinity in the area. So that was pretty cool to let people know that I was a real estate agent. And then I've been doing a lot of stuff on social media, so just having a lot of really good discussions with people in my inner circle that are super curious about what real estate is like, and they may or may not be interested in using me as a real estate agent. So just kind of stay active on Instagram and Facebook, and I'm posting to my business page frequently.
Awesome, great job. All right, just a few more because I know I want to get started here, so we're just gonna speed it up a little bit with how many people you can talk to.
Hey, Mom.
Kelly?
Hi, I'm new to Ignite as well. I completed finalizing my check and getting all that coordinated. I've been doing a couple showings with a client, and another buyer is getting their pre-approval together. And then this last week I joined the chamber, and I've had a lot of opportunity to meet with a lot of people already that want to know what I'm doing and want to share and network with me. So that's really cool.
Awesome, great job. Leslie?
Hi, I'm a new agent. This is my first class. I've been doing some showings. I actually got to put in my first offer this weekend. So that was exciting.
Yay, congrats.
Thanks. We got a counter back and she's changed her mind, so we're going to keep looking. It doesn't fit exactly what she's looking for, but it was good to do and good to get that one out of the way. And so we've got a couple other people we're waiting to get some pre-approvals, but it's been good.
Great job. All right, McKenna?
Hi, you guys. So I had a couple open houses this weekend. My Friday one wasn't too good. My Sunday one was really good. I had 4 groups come in, and all of them were unrepresented. So I'm super excited about that. I have a hot lead I need to call today, but I'm just feeling kind of nervous about it because I'm a new agent, so I haven't done that before. So yeah, then I've just been having conversations with like people here and there. Like I met this guy at the river who's thinking about listing, and just kind of talking about whenever it comes up. It's been good.
Awesome, great job. A lot in the works. Becky? Jen C.
Hi, everybody. I'm a new agent, so I'm trying to, just familiarize myself with all the paperwork. Actually, I'm assisting with an open house this coming Sunday, and I've got a few potential sellers that we know through our sphere.
Awesome, great job.
Excited to learn more stuff.
Yes, you'll learn lots.
Good.
All right, Jenny? Okay, so we are super spoiled to have Leslie Hilbert here to teach us our very first Ignite course, Ignite Your Business. Leslie has been in the industry for 21 years. Not only does she run her own real estate team, she has served on the ALC. She's been a productivity coach, a team leader and CEO of Keller Williams, and leadership coach. She currently is the general manager of the Experience Brokerage Network, which includes 6 Keller Williams market centers in the state of Oregon, with over 1,100 agents doing over 9,800 transactions a year. So as you can imagine, she's super, super busy, and we're really lucky to have her leading us through this today. It will be interactive, so familiarize yourself with muting and unmuting yourself in order for everyone to hear as much as possible. Please keep yourself muted unless you do have a question or something to add. If you are on a phone or device where you do not have a mic or it's just too noisy in your background, feel free to use the chat box and chat a message to her as well. And then have your material at least in front of you with a note page that you can write on, because you will want to take lots of notes today. And I'll let her take it away.
Awesome. Thank you, Mara. Can everybody see and hear me okay? Awesome. Just so we know, the international sign of Zoom of I cannot hear you goes like this. So if I ever lose you and you can't hear me or see me anymore, go like this. I will do everything I can to fix any next glitches. So once again, Mara, thank you so much for welcoming me to launch this round of Ignite. She told you a little bit about myself. And one of the things that I like to say before we get started is that I started my career in 1999 as the receptionist at the front desk of a real estate company. And I have done just about everything you can imagine along the way, from being a transaction coordinator to a branch coordinator, a personal assistant for a mega agent. I've been a buyer's agent, a listing specialist. I've grown my own 7th level team. I was a productivity coach for multiple years, a team leader for 3 years, and now a general manager for 1. The reason I like to say that is that I feel truly blessed that I have had the ability to learn and grow from so many incredible people who walked before me. And one of the things I love about being in classes like this is my opportunity to pay forward my passion, which is to help grow other agents in the real estate industry and create opportunities that will help them meet their personal and professional goals. It also gives me the unique perspective of approaching real estate from many different angles. So that way I can best guide and advise you as you guys are either launching your real estate career, or for some of you relaunching or igniting a career. So we are going to cover a ton of ground today as you guys are getting ready to launch into your first, for this round of Ignite. Mara went over a couple of ground rules. I'm going to reiterate a couple that are going to set us up for success today. Number 1, I'm going to repeat the concept that this is a doing class, not just a learning class. We have found that one of the biggest reasons that agents are not successful in their first year of real estate is for a couple of reasons. Number 1, they joined for flexibility, and flexibility is exactly what they got. In fact, they were so flexible, they never got off their couch and went to work. Now, clearly, if you're on this call, you don't fall into that category. But the second reason we see people fail out of real estate is because they actually never get to the implementation piece. So in these Ignite classes, it's really important to note that you are not just here to learn curriculum. You are here to take that information and apply it and implement it into your businesses. And the difference between successful and unsuccessful individuals is the speed at which you implement. So we are going to be adding implementation into each and every single class in the form of participation. So if you're on this call, please know we will all be better together if you all participate. With that being said, when you're not in speaking mode, make sure you mute yourself just so we can keep the channels clear. Once again, you're all professionals. If you need to step off and just turn your video off and your sound off and rejoin us as soon as you can. And the other things I like to say is that there are no bad questions in the Ignite room. So we are going to ask for everyone to participate together and understand that we are what I like to call the circle of safety. So there is no question too small or too big as we navigate these important foundational pieces in your real estate career. I guarantee if you're thinking it, there is somebody else on the call that is thinking it too. So you might as well ask it so we can all learn and grow together. And the last thing that I'm going to leave you with as you embark on this is that the height of your empire will be determined by the strength of your foundation. And Ignite is all about strengthening your foundation so you can build your empire as big as you want it to be to support and fund your perfect life. So we are going to start this off. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to start working through some slides. And once again, if you guys need me, you can text anything into the chat room and we will go from there. Okay, hold on, let me adjust a few things so I can still see all of your amazing faces while we start getting into content. All right, everybody see it okay? Awesome. All right, so we're gonna get started by getting our minds right? We are gonna get our heart and our head in the right place. So before we launch into some curriculum and some best practice, we're gonna start off by asking you guys a couple of questions. Now, show of hands, does everybody have their workbook in front of them? Okay, let's do it this way. Is there anybody on the Zoom who does not have their workbook? Either raise your hand or even better, if you do not have your workbook, please put your email into the comments box and I will send you one right now. Okay, perfect. John, Ananda, I'll get you guys as we get into this exercise. Anybody else, if you do not currently have a workbook, I'll pop you an email with all of the materials that we're going to be going through today. And also for those of you who want the slides at the end, please let me know because I have expanded the slides from what you guys can get on as content. Okay, so we're going to start this thing off by asking a couple of questions. There are 4 questions I want you guys to take a few minutes and answer for me. They're going to be as follows. Number 1, have you achieved your financial goals through your career so far? Why or why not? Whether that was in real estate or your what we like to call your previous life. What is your one thing that makes what is the one thing that makes one real estate agent more successful than the others? Knowing this, why don't all agents do it? And is your desire to succeed more powerful than your fear from doing the one thing that will make you successful? I want you guys to just take a second and write down your thoughts about those 4 questions. And I'm going to stop sharing for a minute so I can get some slides out or get some information out to people. Just one more minute while I get the rest of these slides out, guys.
Leslie, my husband just walked through and you were asking your questions, and he said he manages hundreds of people, and those are really good questions.
Fantastic. Okay. You know what, it may not let me do this. Oh, you guys, for those of you, Jen, Shelly, John, and Ananda, you guys should be receiving yours shortly. I've got a lot going on in the background here, so you don't just love tech. All right, let's open it up. Question number 1. Have you achieved your financial goals through your career so far? Why or why not? Anybody want to respond to that? Circle of safety.
I'll go ahead and respond. Sherry?
Yeah, Sherry, go ahead.
I'm gonna say no, I haven't. I haven't reached my financial goals. That I was in a different job before. I just recently switched my careers, and I got kind of in a comfortable. I got kind of in my comfort zone, and it wasn't. I was kind of at the top of my pay scale. Wasn't really taking me anywhere else, and I either could stay there and just kind of be comfortable, or I could break outside my box and go somewhere where maybe there's a not really a ceiling. It's just as hard as I want to work. So that's kind of my reason I switched over.
Awesome. Anybody else want to give feedback on that one?
I will.
Lisa, take it away.
I found that I kind of topped out with where I needed to be with my time for my family, and I felt like to achieve any more in my past career, I would have to be working way more, and I had absolutely no flexibility with me and my family.
Good. Let me ask this. Do you think it's a good or a bad thing that we haven't hit, maybe necessarily haven't hit our goals yet?
I think it's probably a good thing because we want to continue growing. So I think we're always going to have goals. Even if we think we reached our goal, we're always going to have another goal. So
I love it. Tina.
So in my previous career, I was actually doing fine as far as I felt with the financial aspect, but the emotional toll that it took on me, and it was too much. It was absolutely not what I wanted. So this career allows me to make at least equal to what I was making, and I don't have to deal with those problems that I had before.
Yeah, I think that you guys, there are a couple ways to look at this question. So wherever you are at in the spectrum, it is okay, right? Like you should hopefully did not have any negative feeling about that, right? Either we're moving into the industry of real estate so that we can increase our opportunity in financial or in leverage or in time, or we're already working in real estate, in which case, guys, the beautiful thing about this industry is that opportunity is endless. And even though I am where I am after 21 years of real estate, I would still answer this question as no, because I still have room to grow. I still have goals that I have today that I didn't even know I would have today if you had asked me 5 years ago, or 10 years ago, or 20 years ago. Because the one thing about this industry is this is an ever-changing industry, full of endless opportunity, and each of you are CEOs of your own business and masters of your own destiny. And the beauty of this career is you get to make the decision on how big or how small you want to keep your business to fund your perfect life. So let's go to the next one. What is the one thing that makes one real estate agent more successful than others? Anyone want to throw out some ideas?
Consistency.
Consistency. Ooh, I love that one. We're going to talk a lot about consistency. I would say that's right up there. What else do we get?
Action.
Action, right? Action implementation. That's a big one. It is not the one, but you guys are hitting the really big ones. What else, you guys?
Persistence.
Persistence. I love it. Grit. Anyone else?
Not being afraid of no.
Not being afraid of no. You guys, everything that you've said so far is 100% accurate. Now I want you to focus those thoughts into one activity. If done with consistency and done with with grit and done with being okay to hear the word no? What is that one activity?
Lead generation.
Boom! There it is, you guys. The number one thing that will set apart a successful agent from a not successful agent is lead generation. The focus at which you attack it, the consistency in which you do it, the skill set in which you apply to it, the focus that you put on it, right? Your tenacity and your ability to keep them at the center and accept the word no over and over again during lead generation is the one single thing that sets apart successful agents. Now, if it's that simple, why don't all agents do it?
Simple doesn't mean it's easy.
There it is. Literally on my notes, success is simple, not easy, right? This is about discipline. This is about a skill. You hit it right on the head. Okay, so my last question for you guys is, in knowing that, last question, is your desire to succeed more powerful than your fear from doing the one thing that will make you successful?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you again.
Yeah.
Now, once again, you guys, you might still be sitting there with a little bit of fear in your heart going, gosh, I'm not sure how to make that happen. Or I don't understand if I have enough time in my life or the skill to do that, right? Or I don't like the word no. And you know what? That is okay. We are going to meet you where you are. We're going to give you the tools, models, systems, coaching, and scripts to help you build what I like to call the confidence and competence to go out and lead generate to support your perfect business. Now, the asterisk that I'm going to say there is that throughout your Ignite journey, you are going to learn all sorts of ways to lead generate to support your business. So there is no one right way to do real estate. There is a wrong way, and the wrong way has to do with ethics. But there are many, many, many right ways for you to lead generate, to run a business that you love in a way that you enjoy. So for those of you who are holding a little nervousness in your heart, please know we are going to walk through those systems and models in some of our future Ignite classes to give you the best options, conversion rates, tools, and scripts to help you in each form of lead generation. Okay, let's get back to some slides. Oops. Cancel. Sorry, I pushed a button. I didn't mean to. Okay, so we're going to get started with mindset, because mindset and attitude matter, right? There's one thing that we can propel us forward. We already talked about. That is lead generation. So one of the things that we want you to do is completely change your mindset. When you tell somebody, hey, what do I do for a living? How many of you say, I'm a real estate agent? Show of hands. The first thing that I can give you in your coaching of launching your career is to change your verbiage. You are not a real estate agent, you are a real estate professional. Professionals operate differently than agents do, right? You are running a business because you are a business professional. And everything that we do is going to be about a mindset of being a business professional today. Now, part of being a real estate business professional is Gary Keller says that there are two jobs in being a real estate professional. Number one, we are in the business of lead generation. And number two, we're in the business of real estate. So essentially what that means is one, we have to generate the leads. So two, we can service them and helping them accomplish their goals of buying, selling, or investing in real estate. Now, how many of you feel really great about being a salesperson? Why? Tell me, sir. I see some heads like shaking, like, no, like I don't like that word. So tell me, like, what happened in your mind when I said you're a salesperson?
Nobody likes a pushy salesperson.
Interesting. Okay.
But
Nobody likes a
pushy
salesperson.
is the operative word.
Okay. What else, guys? What happened in your thoughts and your minds when I said you're a sales agent? You're a salesperson.
It made me think of when I was younger and my mom would let the Dyson vacuum guy vacuum our living room, but with no intention of buying the vacuum every time.
Well, guys, I have news for you. You are all sales people now. Deep breath. Now, we're going to change the way we look at things so the things we look at can change. You guys, we are not trying to sell them some vacuum that they don't want to buy. We're not trying to give ice to Eskimos. Like, we are not trying to give them something that's not in their best interest, are we? No. We are a service-based sales industry, which means that we are merely helping guide them down the path to accomplish the goal that they have already told us they wanted.
But
Tina.
One of my fears, concerns, I don't know, is continually contacting people that haven't come to me asking for my help in realty, people that aren't necessarily interested now, because I'm afraid of losing those relationships.
Yeah.
Or that they just get tired of me.
So I want you, hopefully a lot of this mindset conversation will resonate with some of you. I'm going to go off the script and book a little bit. I tend to do that sometimes. So let's play out a scenario. Every single one of us has gone to a department store at some point in our life, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. So you walk in the door and the sales representative walks up to you and says, "Can I help you?" And you say, "No, thank you. I'm just looking," right? Okay, so then you look around and then you find the perfect outfit. And then once you find the perfect outfit, what's the first thing you do?
We'll find somebody to try it on.
Oh, there it is. We need access to the dressing room. But here's the thing, guys. You don't go back to that first person who approached you, did you? You go find the closest, easiest person you can to let you in the dressing room. And here's the crazy thing. You guys all now work in a commission-based industry. You never once thought about whether that person worked on commission, did you? You never thought about whether they were assessing your personal style and already had 5 more outfits that just like it that they have in the back that might be perfect for you. Nope. You did what humans do. Even knowing you work in a commission-based industry, you went to the closest, easiest person to let them in the dressing room, i.e. open the door to a home, i.e. your clients will do the exact same thing. So it is our job as professionals to make sure when they're ready to try the clothes on, we're the closest, easiest agent and professional for them to find. Does that help? Guys, part of mindset is remembering that even us, we do the same thing. And by knowing that about our own human character, we can better articulate and communicate with people in a way that they can best receive the information. And that is what changing your mindset is about. That yes, we are salespeople, but that sales is based on service to help them accomplish a dream and guide them through one of the biggest financial decisions they're ever going to make in their life. That as long as we keep them at the forefront of the conversation and the reason why we're doing this, and we always come from contribution, that we will always be of value to them and not that sleazy, slimy salesperson that so many of us prickle at when we hear the word salesperson. All right, what thoughts or ahas do you guys have about being a salesperson versus a service person?
I actually have had an interesting experience in sales in the past. I wasn't there very long, but in the beginning, I really believed the product and I was immediately their top salesperson. And then I started to have doubts about it and there was some inconsistencies and my sales just plummeted. And at that point, I realized I could never sell anything that I didn't believe in and stand behind, which is why I'm excited to get into this industry because we're not selling ice to Eskimos. We're selling homes to people that need them. So just my thought on
Everybody
that.
needs a home, right?
Yeah.
And you know what? And everybody needs somebody to fight ferociously for their best interest. And sometimes that means being direct. And sometimes that's giving them news that they don't want to hear because it's in their best interest. Sometimes it's telling them that a home is underpriced or overpriced, right? Sometimes you're going to have what they used to call fierce conversations, which I now call caring conversations, because you have to care so much that you're willing to have a hard conversation. And that's what makes it service and not just sales. Okay, now we're going to continue down on mindset because you guys, mindset is 90% of success, right? And so the first part of our call today is going to be going deep into the mindset that's going to set you up for success throughout, not just Ignite, but in the launching and growing of your business. So one of the things that we're going to talk about is the 6 personal perspectives. So Gary said, asked one question, and that was, what is it that differentiates those who achieve at the highest level from those who don't seem to accomplish as much? Besides lead generation, we're just talking about successful people. What is it that made certain people such high performers? Well, the answer was 3 characteristics, right? I see taking action. Yep, there you go. Guys, the number 1 was their overall mindset. Did they believe that they could do it? Were they positively and ferociously moving forward? Number 2, their attitude about it, right? Were they being masters of their own destiny, or were they merely just letting life happen to them? The industry happened to them. COVID happened to them, right? Were they writing their own story, or were they reading their own story? And the 3rd was their approach to life. Now, these 3 attributes led to the 6 personal perspectives. So we're going to go through each of those 6 personal perspectives so you guys can adopt each of these core fundamental things into your successful launch of your real estate career. This is where I'm going to ask for some volunteers. We're going to start with number 1, self-mastery. Would somebody be willing to read what's in the little box under self-mastery is? It looks like this. Volunteer.
Sure.
Shannon, will you do this one?
Yeah. The position of great knowledge, skills, and habits that make you the master of you. Or self-mastery is that.
Perfect. The possession of great knowledge, skills, and habits that make you the master of you, right? Now that's going to be broken into a couple of categories. Number 1, first you have to know your goals, right? What is it that we're trying to master? Number 2, we need to know our strengths and weaknesses. Why is that especially important in real estate?
Well, because there's just a lot of different ways to succeed, and you need to know what works for you, I guess. Yeah.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you know what? Sometimes people spend a lot of time on their weaknesses. Well, gosh darn, if you just embraced your strengths, you would have already been on top. Right? Then at the same time, we need to be aware of our weaknesses or the places that we have an opportunity to grow, especially if that particular weakness is keeping us from servicing our clients at the highest level. Right? Number 3, know how to work with both your strengths and weaknesses to seek and master the necessary knowledge, skills, and habits to reach your goals. Right? That is what Ignite is about. That is what learning the DISC profile is about. That is what scripts are about, right? Where do I need to level up? The great thing is Ignite is specifically designed to cover all of those foundational pieces of building a real estate career, supporting you in all client, contract, and business building needs. So throughout this process, you'll be able to continue to assess where you're at and specifically find the areas that you need to either level up or feel like you have already hit mastery on. Now, how many hours does it take to get to mastery?
10,000.
10,000 hours. So we're all at a different level, right? But remember, there's all different skills that we're in the process of mastering along the way, right? Some of you might have like psychology degrees, right? Your ability to be persuasive may already be at mastery level. We might need to focus on contract. Some of you are proficient at being business owners, right? But you may need to focus on the specific skills of real estate, right? So the really important thing on this journey together is that we don't ever compare our insides to other people's outsides, right? Even the most polished, put together, successful agent has something in their life that they're working to mastery on. All right, number 2, commit to the 80-20 principle, also called the Pareto principle. Will somebody read me that short paragraph under that commit to the 80-20? Danielle, take it away.
Hang on one second. Sorry, I got to silence the kiddos for a second. The idea that 20% of your actions lead to 80% of your results may be one of the most powerful principles you can apply to your life. It's about getting the most from your time and effort. It's about maximizing your results. It's about having focus.
I love it. You guys, if there is one of these rules I want you to take away, it is 80-20 because it will make everything else easier. I want to say it in a different way, right? They say the 20% of your actions will lead to 80% of your results. I want you to think of it a little different. 80% of your income will be generated on 20% of your activities. Did that change the way you think about that? And the reason I want you to think about that, you guys, is because there is a lot of ways to keep yourself busy in real estate, right? In fact, you can be so busy that you never actually get a home into escrow and closed. So we need to make sure that if we know that 80% of our income is coming from 20% of our activities, we need to be very clear about what those activities are and the level of mastery that we're doing those 20% activities, right? And until we've mastered those 20%, nothing else really matters. All right, step 3, move from E to P. Who wants to read that one? High achievers are... Sherry, take it away.
Are always looking for the purposeful way. By doing this, they break through the ceiling of their natural behavior.
Ooh, I love it. This is one of my, you know, I feel like I'm going to say this over. This is one of my favorites. No. You guys, going from E to P, you are going to hear that a ton at Keller Williams. Now, in the quick summary of going from E to P, and this will show up a little bit later, is that each and every single one of us has a natural ceiling, and it's going to be different for every single person, right? Like some people be like, I can't do more than 12 transactions a year before I get leverage. I know people who can do 60 transactions a year without leverage, right? Like whatever your ceiling is, know that each one of us has a natural ceiling of which our natural innate skill sets, charisma, and drive will get us there, right? Because we can will ourselves to that ceiling. And when we hit that ceiling, the only thing that is going to help us move past it is to apply purposeful action. And that is the going from E to P. Now, there are 5 elements that are not in your book that I'm going to give you as extra little nuggets for you to take note of. There's 5 elements in going from E to P. Number 1, focus. Number 2, create strategies and action items that support your focus. Number 3, follow a model. Number 4, implement systems. And number 5, be accountable. Did everybody get all those 5s? Do we need to repeat one? Tina,
Were those supposed to be on a slide? No.
I always add extra. Sorry, guys.
Of course.
So number 1, focus. Number 2, create strategies and action items that support your focus. 3, follow the model. 4, implement systems. And 5, be accountable. All right, we're gonna keep.
I'm sorry, what was 5 again?
Be accountable. Awesome. All right, we're gonna move on to number 4, right? Which is make being learning-based the foundation of your action plan. Who wants to volunteer to read under that? A learning-based individual is?
An individual who has made the decision to use effective learning as the foundation piece for their action plan to develop their life.
I love it. We talked about this a lot. Guys, under that next paragraph, it says commit to the process of acquiring skills-based habits. And I'd like you to write next to it, and implement. Underline, right? We have to obtain the skills, and then we need to implement the skills. All right, number 5. Remove your limiting beliefs. Who wants to read that? High achievers.
I'll go for it. So remove your limiting beliefs from their thinking that hold them back. In order to successfully develop at a higher level, you will need to clear your mind of limiting beliefs first. For example, are any of these thoughts in your head? I have to be an expert and know everything before I can begin my business. I'm not yet valid, or I'm not valid yet. I don't think I can achieve a profit goal that will fund my life this year. Because I'm in business, the business will come to me naturally. I don't need to devote 3 hours each day to lead gen.
Ooh, all right, let's regroup on those. Anybody out on the call feel like they identify with one of those 3?
I do with the first one, especially now with like leads coming to me, you know, and like actually like needing to take action. I'm like, ooh, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, oh, and so I hear that in the back of my mind, but I'm like, okay, I got it. Like, I'm never going to know unless I just push myself to start doing it, you know? So yeah, I identify with the first one.
Well, it's kind of funny. I'm sorry. I was going to say, I feel the same way. And I kind of have that feeling too, but when I bought my first house a certain amount of years ago, I mean, I didn't even think about whether the person I was buying from, I think it was from a new agent. I didn't think about whether this agent had a certain amount of experience. I just liked her and I went with her. So I think it's more about the relationship, I guess, for most people.
I love it. You already went to activity number 2, Sherry.
Oh,
so this is what I want. And John, you put it really well in the comments. I want you to write under that, I have to be the expert. I want you to write this. Perfection is the enemy of success. Right? Yes, that's Voltaire. Perfect is the enemy of good. There you go. Perfection is the enemy of success. Guys, consistency and time on task will beat out perfection every single time. This is also something I want to warn you of as you launch your real estate career. This is what we call aim, 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 no fire, right? Also, in my mama's words, she always said, something works and nothing never does. So we shouldn't spend 40 hours on creating a flyer that's perfect when a flyer, just having a flyer was something, right? Tina.
So, of course, wanting to make sure that I know what I need to know in order to do it was in my mind. But just a couple of weeks after becoming licensed, a friend of mine asked if I would sell her house. And well, that's the one I've been working on. And she said she wanted to buy up in Washington, so I learned how to do a referral. But she then changed her mind and said, no, I want to stay here, and had me be her buyer's agent. So I've been like learning all of it as I go and making mistakes, and she's just completely supportive and happy, and I've learned a lot.
Oh. Guys, the only reason I'm sitting here and you guys are sitting there is because I've just merely made a whole lot more mistakes than you have, right? Lots and lots of mistakes. So it's okay. Now we do need to get our competence up so that we can accurately guide them through the rules and regulations of selling real property in the state of Oregon. And the great thing is you have tons of resources. But in this, I don't want you to get into analysis paralysis, right? Like we need to be moving through things and implementing things and getting things done. So the big thing about this is the only way we kick our limiting beliefs is to counter it with an affirmation, okay? So anytime you come up against those, I'm going to give you the countering affirmations to those 3 things, and you can write your own or you can adopt these, right? Number 1, when I have to be an expert. This is your affirmation. I need to be a professional, not an expert. Expertise will come from doing, and training will be the best to prepare me for the success ahead. I don't think I can achieve my profit goal. You counter that with, when I set and track my goals and complete the activities required to meet my goals, I will fund my perfect life. And the last one, it'll come naturally to me. To consistently have business, I will have to consistently go after it. All right, that brings us to 6 personal perspectives. The number 6 is to be accountable. Will somebody read me those first 2 sentences?
An accountable person says, everything in my life is a result of my choices and actions. I own my life.
There you go, guys. I'm going to remind you that you guys are masters of your own destiny, right? You are CEOs of your own company. And with real estate comes self-accountability, right? Many of us came into this industry so that we would be rewarded for the actions, activities that we put into our business, that we would be rewarded for the results that we procured. That is what self-accountability is about. And if you find yourself losing clients over the same reason, or coming up against the same objections over and over, or not getting to the closing table, then each one of us as professionals has to take a hard look at ourselves and say, where is the gap? And how can I actively fix that gap, right? Because guys, at Keller Williams, you are surrounded every single day with tools, resources, coaches, leaders, ALC members, live streams, classes. If you have a gap somewhere in your business, you have the resources to fill it. And it is up to you, right? Like if it is to be, it's up to me. We went into this business to be CEOs. Welcome to being CEO of your own company. All right. So we went into that deep. We're going to go through this next thing, and we're going to do this quickly. This is just a little bit more mindset about going through Ignite. There are 3 different ways that you can approach your Ignite experience, right? And what we are going to reference you guys all as we go through this is you'll hear this term used called cappers in training. Does anybody know what the definition of a capper is? Somebody's got to be money focused on this call. What's a capper?
When you meet your cap, you don't have to pay KW anymore the rest of the year.
There you
Percent of your
go.
commissions.
Yes, there it is. Cappers mean that you have capped out of paying the company and you earned 100% of your commissions for the remainder of your year. Now, in most of your markets, it's going to take somewhere between 6 to 8 transactions to be a capper. So if you are on this call today and your goal is to close more than 7 homes in the first 12 months of your career, consider yourself a capper in training. And the faster you learn and implement this information, the sooner you get to cap and you get your 30% pay raise. As CEOs, you're in control of when and how that happens. So, as we go through the Ignite process, you can approach your learning in 3 different ways. You can either be the prisoner, which means that you feel like you have to be here, that you don't want to be here, and you don't know why you're here. You can be the vacationer, which is a day in training is better than a day on the job. Or you can be the explorer, which is excited and curious about the new knowledge, skills, and tools that you will discover in this class and in future classes. So my hope is that you guys have all chosen Explorer. It will be a lot more fun if you did, because nobody wants to be a prisoner. Okay, so what are some of the elements that are going to make your experience in Ignite even more powerful? I like to go through these because knowing these at the beginning will help hold you accountable and to applying the things that you're going to be learning every day. Number 1 is action reveal. Now, what action reveal is that before every single class, there is a mission. Now, how many of you guys completed the mission homework before coming on this class? Alan, yes. Andrew's like, I appreciate your honesty. Okay, so as in general, it sounds like we didn't, right? Most of it. Thank you, John. Okay, here's the bottom line. How many of you guys are familiar with the tools and resources, where to find all of this information for Ignite? Good, most of you. For some of you, this is going to be a quick review. I'm going to click through a couple of things on my screen so you know where to find this action reveal. So this is your Agent Services Division page, right? On Agent Services Division, who is Jack and Morgan have put together a joint network calendar, which includes network live schedule. You can go on here anytime and click on any of our classes. For example, right now here is Ignite Your Business as well as the Zoom link, and you can log on to these classes from this location. If you want to do it through Ignite, then there's an entire Ignite page. Guys, this is phenomenal because you've got the full schedule here. You can log onto your tracker here. You can join in on the live Zoom here, and you have all of your resources here. When you click on resources, it's going to take you to a page that looks like this. You have information for each of the classes that you're going to take. This is a little note I want to make sure you see, that if you scroll down to the bottom, there is an entire section on additional resources that you can tap into anytime, including the Ignite Toolkit and the Ignite Script Book. So that is a great thing to download if you have not already done so. Now, under each of these things, you will see you have your manual, and you will also have your mission. The mission is what we call, hold on, let me find it. This is your mission. Now, in this case, in preparation for this call, it was really getting you onboarded and getting your email set up, and it'll tell you, what do you need to have for the class that is coming up, right? These are the resources I need. If these are the action items that you need to have completed to make the most out of the class. These are the things we want you to read or watch because they're going to give you a foundation. We're not necessarily going to go through them during class. These are hot links, so you can watch all the videos right from your mission. And then there'll be some additional action items as well. So if you did not complete that this time, don't worry, you get a pass. But now you know when and how to find it to set yourself up for success and make sure that you have everything you need for each of the classes. Any questions about that, you guys? Cool. The more prepared you are, the more you're going to get out of each class. The next thing is that we're going to go through expectations, and we are on page 16 of your packet. There's a couple of things that we're going to go through really quickly for expectations of you as the cappers and trainings, as well as what you should expect from each of your instructors. One of the beautiful things about Ignite, and also doing it in the format that we are, is that you are going to have a live instructor each of your classes to interact with and overlay, take the base curriculum and overlay their local and personal experiences on top of it, which means you are going to get to experience a lot of professionals and the best instructors from across the network of 6 market centers. It also is going to show you a huge variety of personalities and business styles, which is going to be really important for you guys as you're navigating this real estate career. So now here are the things that you guys are going to be doing. Number 1, you're going to declare your personal big why. We're going to actually do that today. You're going to set your monetary goals. You're going to be accountable to your big why, and you're going to use influencing sales language. I, as your instructor and future instructors, will make sure that we devote the majority of the time on activities in class, interactions with you as CEOs of your business. We're going to talk about and go over the daily mission as well as the 10-4, which we'll talk about. You are going to have a time in each class where you're going to be doing some calls and actual lead generation. We're going to be doing that and supporting and cheering each other on. My goal is to help set you up for success in that as well. I'm going to be checking in with you and asking questions that are going to generate some further thinking and some ahas. And then, of course, I'm going to make sure we have all the videos and tools and resources ready to go. Now, we're going to go over some quick ground rules so you know what to expect on every class moving forward, right? Because each instructor is also going to be at different levels in their coaching, training, teaching. So I want to make sure that you guys have the platform set, because for many of you, you were with Mara. She's incredible. She's already set a great foundation. But these are what you should be expecting on every call. Number 1, arrive to the class on time. 2, be fully present. Now, the asterisk there, guys, is once again, we know that things happen, especially when we're live streaming from home, right? Things happen, life happens, emergencies happen. We understand that as professionals. So if those do happen, then please make sure you're addressing those and rejoin us when and if you can. Otherwise, please set your calendars accordingly to attend these classes and be present while doing it so you get the most out of it. The reason I'm going to say that this is so important is that oftentimes we are bringing you the best of the best instructors. We do that on purpose because many organizations believe that the best instructors should teach the highest level of producer. We actually believe that the best instructors need to be the ones teaching our agents as they launch their career. And the reason is if we miss one step in your foundational training, it might take you weeks, months, or even years to overcome a bad habit or gain that skill. So please know we're bringing you the best instructors. So please plan your business accordingly so that you can attend the classes and interact with them. Please respect the different learning styles. Right? We all have different ways of learning, and that is awesome. Once again, that's the circle of safety. Remember, how you participate in here is how you participate out there. And I will take it even one step further. We practice harder than we play, guys. This is practice time. When you're out in the field servicing your clients, that's the play time. We're going to help each other learn, because none of us is as smart as all of us together. In Keller Williams, we use another term that we call together we can and actually do accomplish more. Consider everything that we discuss confidential. Right? That's a little weird because we're on Zoom. So what I will say about that, you guys, is if you do feel at any point that you have something that you want to address confidentially out and you're not comfortable, please reach out to your productivity coach, reach out to a leader in your market center, reach out to me, reach out to somebody you trust, because we really do want to help you through whatever that question concern is. And if we do need to take it to a personal level, we are happy to do that and guiding you with your business. Next thing, commit to implementing at least one thing you learn. I'm going to say one thing you learn every day, not just one thing you learn out of the next 6 weeks of classes. And the last thing is have fun. Whew, how we feeling so far? I'm going to take a quick sip break. John is amped up. I come prepared with like multiple drinks when I teach. I have like a whole like buffet of liquid. Hold on just a second. We're going to take our quick break and do this. This is the professional type. People watching this video are going to be like, what is she doing? All right. We're going to keep rock and rolling. All right. Now we're going to get into make it happen, which is, I think, is the implementation piece. There are 4 skills that we're going to go through in this particular section, right? Number 1, know your big why and your monetary goal. Number 2, commitment to daily lead generation. Number 3, influencing sales language. And number 4, be accountable to your big why and the monetary goal. These are we're going to spend a large part of the rest of our presentation on these 4 activities that are going to support you as the foundation of your real estate business. So we are going to start right out of the gate with know your big why. Right? What is a big why, guys? Anybody? Definition of a big why?
Why you do what you do.
Yeah. Why you do what you do. Anyone want to add anything to that?
What drives you to wanting to be a successful real estate professional, or what you want to achieve from it?
Yeah, I love it. The 3 elements of your big why are what stirs your soul, why are you in this business, and what do you hope to achieve for yourself and your family? Okay. I often like to add a 4th one because this is what motivates me. What gets you out of bed on the hardest of hard days? When all you want to do is pull the covers over your head, what is it inside of you that gets you out of bed? Now, as we find our passion for our big why, it's funded by a couple of things, right? The truth is that real estate is an equal opportunity, unequal reward industry, right? Any one of you could be the next Lance Loken or Gary Keller or Ben Kenny, some of the big names in our industry, right? Any one of you can. It's up to you to decide if that's going to be you or not. And it's okay if you are or not. But the only way we accomplish those things is, guys, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There are going to be days in real estate that are hard. Some harder than others. There might be weeks, there might be months in real estate that could be hard. And without a compelling reason to get yourself up and be motivated every day, you may not be hitting your goals. Those people who can tie their activities to a big why will have a higher chance of being successful. So that's why, number 1, we have to find the passion for your big why. Once we have found that, we need to follow the model that best supports our business. And then my favorite, time on task over time. And all of those things are going to lead to your success. So we're going to go through a little exercise. I think this is a fun one. Okay. We're going to talk about your big future for a second. How many of you already know where you want to be 1 year from now? Yep, John, gosh, you're on it. Who else? Show of hands. It's okay if you don't, because if you don't, we're going to go through a little exercise right now. And maybe this exercise will help guide you to think about where you may be 1 year from now. So the first thing that I want you to do is write down the date 12 months from now. Write it down in your workbook. What's that date? Now, I want you to put your pens down. I'm gonna put your phones down. I just want you to sit there. Close your eyes if you want to. And we are going to cast a vision of what July 20th of 2021 looks like for you. Your business is thriving and your life is everything that you dreamed of. Your customers rave about the experience and value you provide and think of you when they have a real estate need. Your family and friends are so proud of your success and are consistently referring you business. You are helping others live their dream of owning a home because you are focused on helping them get what their hearts desire. You are building the foundation and momentum of your entire career and gaining relationships and experiences and the income that you desire and deserve. You are the top agent in your market center or rookie of the year. You're poised to hire a part-time assistant to handle your 80% while you take care of the 20% that grows your business. And you are on a path to build a career worth having, a business worth owning, experiences worth giving, and a life worth living. How does that sound, you guys?
Good.
Was that different than what you guys had thought about in your head? For some of you, tell me your feedback. Like, how did that make you feel hearing all those words about yourself? Silence.
Well, it's really exciting, first of all.
Yeah. Inspired, Ananda, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel excited, inspired, and grateful.
You guys, there are many, many strategies I've learned along the way to keep myself motivated and on track. And future visualization is one of them. I call it walking with your future self. And that is what you just did, right? Whether it's 1 year, 5 years, 30 years from now. One of the biggest catalysts of change in my business, if I'm going to tell you a little bit about my world, is that I got an opportunity to do a walk with my future self 2 months after joining Keller Williams. I had been in the industry for 12 years before I joined Keller Williams. And the month after joining, I took Bold. And on the second step of Bold, they have you walk with your future self. And you go through this visualization and you walk down a forest path and then up a hill, and then you get to see your future self walking towards you. And in that moment, you get to have a conversation with your future self. And unfortunately, at that point in my world, my future self said only one thing to me. And those words stay with me today. And the words she said were, "What are you waiting for?" And in the next 3 months, I blew up my entire business, my entire personal life, and I rebuilt everything from the foundation. And I have built everything that I have today in the last 7 years since that moment that I walked with my future self. And every time I get off course, I merely sit down and have a conversation with my future self. I will ask for each of you, if that's something that's powerful in your world, and that can be your North Star, is consistently project out into the future and ask, is your future self proud of where you are today? Are they proud of what you've accomplished? Are they proud about how you structured your business and the quality time that you got to spend with your family and loved ones? And if the answer is yes, then keep moving forward. And if the answer is no, then let's go reevaluate those activities, right? Awesome. All right, guys, now it's your turn. We are going to go through an exercise, and you guys are going to create your big why. On page 21 of your book, you are going to answer the following questions. And I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to do this quietly. Those questions are, what is or was your driving motivation, the why or goal for a career in real estate? Number 2, what will achieving your goal mean for you? 3, in what ways will your life change? And 4, what doors will open for you? I'm going to put myself on mute, and we're going to just take a few minutes, and I want you guys to really think about those 4 questions and write whatever comes to your mind. I'm going to give you guys one more minute to put those thoughts down. All right, finish out whatever sentence you're on. We can take a deep breath. And I want you to turn the page. So now that you've answered 4 very, very important questions, which are the foundation of your big why, what we're going to do now is, based on those 4 questions, you are going to write, or at least start to write, your big why. Now, before you do this, I want to give you a little guidance that they don't give you in the book. And I find that this is sometimes very helpful and sometimes not. But for those of you who are struggling with a big why, and it's just a very common thing, is the first thing I will say is keep it simple, right? Keep it simple. You don't need to overcomplicate it. Number 2, your big why is extremely personal, right? It doesn't need to be anybody else's. One of the biggest reasons that people have a hard time finding a big why is because they just don't feel like it's big enough, right? Your big why doesn't need to be to feed all the homeless, hungry children in the world, right? It doesn't need to be to cure a pandemic. It could merely be to make a certain amount of money to support your family. It could be to put your kids through college, right? Whatever it is uniquely yours, and there is no judgment on how big or small. The only question is does it get you out of bed on the hard days? Okay, take a few minutes and write down your big why. For those of you who have already got it down, I want you to move on to those next questions of what could get in your way of achieving it, and how can you prevent that? All right, y'all, come back to me. Now we're gonna do something that I like to call declare and share. So, who wants to share their aha out of this exercise and or their big why?
So one of my big whys is I want to achieve my goals through meaningful relationships. The job that I had in the past, I didn't really have that, and I wasn't able to cultivate any relationships with my job in the past, and I felt like that was really missing in my life. And through that, attaining financial freedom, basically. So that's that's kind of the most important thing for me.
And what will those relationships do for your life?
Well, if I can actually have these meaningful relationships through helping my customers attain their goals through home ownership, then that will help me with my goals as far as my financial goals. And it got kind of windy on me out here. I'm sitting outside. Okay.
The beauty of Zoom and all the crazy things that happen around us.
Right.
And what will hitting your financial goals do for yourself and your family?
It'll give me more freedom to do the things I want to do. Travel or just being able to, if my kids need something, being able to help them. It just more possibilities.
Okay, let me ask you, is having those possibilities and spending time with your family more or less important than the relationships you build with others?
I mean, I would think family's probably first, but it's kind of interrelated, I guess, but family's number one.
Okay. Does anybody catch on with what I just did there? Right? this is my conversation around the big why, right? Sometimes we want to make it, because we don't want to admit that maybe sometimes a big why could be selfishly motivated. We want to make it like very humanitarian or outward focused. But the truth of the matter is, if I asked you to choose between the experience with your family or building another relationship and you said family, then the family is what gets you out of bed on the hard day, right? Not the building of the relationship. The relationship is merely the vehicle in which we accomplish the time with family, right? So what I would think you guys are thinking about those big whys, it is, and sometimes it is the relationship. Like some people, that's what feeds their soul. Like I need to meet somebody new every day, right? But if you're meeting that person new every day because of the life it is going to fund, then the life that it's going to fund is the big why.
Right.
It's an onion. You got to peel back the layers. And sometimes it takes a couple of tries to get to your big why. I know people who struggle with it for years. I coach people all the time on finding their big why. Okay, who else wants to go and share, declare and share?
I got one.
Okay.
I want to freedom to travel. Yeah.
Why is it important?
Well, because I've done it before, and then I always run into a financial wall at about 3 or 4 months in, and I have to come home, and then I have to find a job. It'd be nice to set it up where I could do that more regularly instead of being bound to a particular location.
I love it. Okay, so your big why is the ability to travel.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, my advice is to make it a little bit more succinct, right? Travel's really broad. So what is it about that that's going to like really light your fire, right? How much traveling? What does that experience look like?
Well,
now,
if I decide, hey, you know what, this week is, Dad, I'd really like to go to Iceland for the week. I want to be able to just, you know, get on a plane and go. No forward planning, just spontaneous travel.
Awesome. So what I would probably say is your big why is to fund the life that gives you the freedom and flexibility to travel.
That's it.
Right? To like whatever extent you want to put that. So I want to make it bigger than travel. It's the freedom, because it's not just the travel, it's the freedom and flexibility to travel when and how you want without being concerned about money, probably, right? Time or money, schedule or money.
Totally.
There's your succinct big why.
Cool.
Awesome. Tina, did you want to share your big why?
Yeah. So mine says, I want to be financially set so that I can enjoy life, not just live it. I want to spend time with family and friends, help take care of my family. I want to just be able to be calm and relaxed.
I love it. So I would say the same thing, make it a little bit like dial in your succinct, because what I want you guys to do is create a mantra, right? It's your personal affirmation, right? It's the thing that you tell yourself when 2 deals fell out of escrow in the same day, when you know you have to go have a consultation with a very difficult person, right? For me, when I struggled with my big why for years, and I'll share the one that I came up with when I really got focused on my real estate career. And that was to be able to support my family and loved ones while ensuring that no one ever had to financially support me. And I wrote it big on a piece of paper, and I hung it up in my walk-in closet. Why? Because it was mine, right? Nobody else had to see it, but guess what? I saw it every single day. And when I was preparing to go out into the world to be a professional, it was the last thing that I saw before I walked out of my walk-in closet to prepare me for the day. And that's what I would say. It's not just having the big why. Are you incorporating that big why into everything that you're doing every single day? And are you living it in your life? Because if you said it and then you forget it, then it is not going to add the power and weight to your business that you want. Now, my big why also changes over time, guys. It doesn't need to be a big why forever, right? It's just, what's your big why that's going to get you through the next year or 5 years? And that's important to note too. As we grow, so may our big whys. All right, any other thoughts, feedbacks, or ideas around your big why? Danielle.
Well, it's kind of like what you just said there is like, I have the big why for like when I'm ready to retire and good to go. But I also have smaller ones for along the way. So like, I want to have enough money to hire a landscaper and a housekeeper. I want to have enough money to build onto my house. I mean, just things along the way that culminates into the other thing I said.
So think of your big why as your North Star. And every achievement along the way will either move you closer or farther away from your big star, your North Star, right? So once you have your North Star, the litmus test for your business is, in your life is this getting me closer or is this getting me farther away? And those things of like getting a landscaper or cook or paying off a student loan or whatever those things might be, they may be the big why or they may be just a landmark on the way to your North Star. But whatever it is, it's the thing that keeps you motivated in the hardest of times and the darkest of moments. And you don't want to pick up when that phone feels like it's 10,000 pounds. Like, what is it? Is that it's going to get you to make that next call? All right, guys. Now that we have our big why, we're going to start setting some goals. All right. First, we said the big why. Why is it that we're doing these things anyway? Now we're going to start setting your goals. And the first thing that we're going to do, and we're on page 23 for those of you following along in your book, is to set your monetary goals. Because here's the deal, guys. In order to hit a goal, we must first have a goal. So we are going to start setting some goals. Now, for some of you, this will be a little bit challenging, and that is okay, because we don't necessarily like to talk about money. Right? And that's because that is preconditioned stuff. Just like when I said, how do you feel about being a salesperson? A lot of you were like, ugh. Okay. Well, some of you are going to have the same feeling when we talk about money, because we have been conditioned to think of money as bad. It is the root of all evil. All those other crazy things that we're taught. But here's the deal, guys. Money is good for the good that money can do. And most of you, I will say all of you, most likely your big why requires some level of financial contribution to get there. So it may not be the thing in your heart that gets you out of bed, but the money behind it is the vehicle that we drive to accomplish it. So the question for you right now is, in the next 12 months, we're sitting here on July 20th of 2021. How much money have you made? And I'm going to say net, not gross. Also, no judgment, right? Wherever it's at. Some of us want to make 50,000, some 100, some 500,000, whatever it is. All we can do then is put a strategic plan behind it. Does anyone want to declare and share what they put for their goal for the next 12 months? Andrew, 60K. Awesome. John, 100K. Love it.
I put 80,000.
80,000. Awesome. Okay. So now we're going to, how many of you guys have already worked backwards to know 125? Ananda, boom. Great job. Guys, for those of you who are sitting here thinking, I don't want to put a big number because people told me I can't accomplish it in my first year. I want you to put that monkey down, right? Like that is something you don't need to carry. You can do whatever you want to do. We have, for those of you who were on the State of the Industry a couple of weeks ago, we had an incredible gentleman on the call who had been in the business for 18 months. Does anybody remember what he's on pace to close?
Like 22 or 26 or something like that.
Since January, he has closed 29 homes and has 23 in escrow at that time.
Yeah.
In his first full year of real estate, right? So this is your plan and your dream and your goal, so make it personal. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna start talking about what it's gonna take in order to hit your goal. Okay, so if you're on page 23, the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna start doing a little bit of math. We have to work backwards. So the first thing we're gonna do is identify the average sales price in your area. Does anybody know what that is?
It's about 250,000, I think.
For Beaverton, I think it's like 410, maybe 420, yeah.
So we're gonna work through some numbers. So if you are in Southern Oregon, the average sales price for Keller Williams agents is right around $300,000 even. Eugene, 305. I'd make it 300 just for easy math. Capital City, Salem, you guys are 330. So you can choose. I say choose easy math. And for those of you out of Sunset Corridor, the average sales price is $461,000.
Sure. Yeah.
Now, for those of you that are like, whew, that would be nice. Also remember, a studio apartment is like $1,500 bucks. So like it's all relative, right? Like whatever it is. So once we get our average sales price, and in this case, I'm just gonna throw out some numbers just to make the math easy. Let's say you have an average sales price of $400,000. And then you're going to take your average commission rate that you are going to get for each property. Does anybody know what industry, we can't say standard because that would be price fixing. Does anybody know approximately what the average commission percentage that we're getting for Keller Williams agents is?
2.5 to 3.
Good. Yep. So when we take a listing, we're usually listing at between 5 to 6%. You guys some might be higher, some might be lower. So on average, you're usually getting somewhere between 2.5% to represent buyers, and usually somewhere between 2.7 to 3% if you're representing more sellers. Depending on each of your areas is a little bit different on what is kind of common. So for the purposes of this and making math easy, we're going to say 2.5% because a lot of newer agents represent a lot of buyers. So we're just for math makes it easy. So 400,000 times 2.5% is what?
$10,000.
Boom! You guys are gonna get so fast at calculating real estate commissions, I guarantee it. Like you're just gonna be like 3% of this is this, right? That's just how it is. Yes, because it makes it easy math. 400,000 at 2.5% is an average of $10,000 for commissions. For you guys, who else has some different numbers based on their local area?
7,500 for Eugene if it's 302%.
7,500? Yep, that's good.
11,500 for Sunset Corridor.
11,500? Yep. So you can see it will be different for each of you. So the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to put those calculations into what we call our monetary goal tracker, and that's going to be on page, just flip to page 26. And in item A, write down your monetary goal for the year. And B, write down your market center cap amount for you cappers in training. It will be different in most of our market centers as well. Add item A and B together. So for example, at Sunset Corridor, you'd be 100,000. If you're 100, let's say you put a goal of 100,000 GCI, market center cap of 18,500. So you get 118,500. Divide that by your average commission amount. And that gives you your goal. Now I'm going to ask you all to declare and share. So this is what we're going to do. Get your number, write it down. So once again, take your GCI goal. Add on your market center cap. Divide it by your commission amount, and that gives you a number, right? Everybody raise their hand when they're ready to go. Okay. Now, whatever that number is, if you have a fraction, I want you to round up. Don't give me any 0.2 transactions. This is also a big thing I want to mention in setting your goals, you guys. When you set business goals, you never, ever set goals that are a fraction, okay? No decimals, no fractions. And the reason is that the human brain will read a fraction as an excuse. Let me give you an example. On average, I need to make 9.8 calls today and go on 2.7 appointments this week. So what happens is you get to the end of the week and you only went on 2 and you go, oh, it's cool because I only had to go on 0.7, so I'll make it up next week, right? So what happens is you are actually training your brain to not hit a goal instead of enforcing a habit of hitting a goal. And also by rounding up, it always means that we're ahead of our goal instead of always trying to chase it. Okay, so with that being said, we are gonna go. Circle of safety, you guys. Everybody's number is okay, but let's just see how many transactions we're gonna do as a group, okay? All right, I'm gonna read your names off one by one and you're gonna be declare and share. Okay, Tina, you're first.
My annual transactions is 12.
12, Andrew. You can put it in chat box too if you guys can't unmute
Okay,
yourself.
my kids are quiet for a second. So it was 3 million something divided by 4, 8, I think.
Awesome. Ellen.
12.
Sherry.
13.
Desiree.
10.
Danielle.
12.
Ooh. McKenna.
9.
Shannon.
I think I might have done this wrong because I have 41. But I'm thinking I did 65,000 for my annual.
Okay, so 65,000 plus
20.
Okay, so now we're at 85 divided by your average commission.
Okay, so I divided that by 2.5%, which is 2,100.
Oop, that's where we went right. So
Okay.
your 2.5% times your average purchase price is what?
Oh, okay. I just did 2.5 by itself. That's why.
Well, I'm gonna circle back to you. Shelly.
11.
11? Corin, did I say that right?
You did. Yes, that's 14.
Oh, I love it. Lisa.
10.
Jen.
I got 23, but I don't think that's correct either.
Okay, so once again, do your GCI plus your market center cap and then divide it by your average commission amount, not percentage.
Oh, okay, I see.
And then I'll give you a number. I'll circle right back. Leslie.
16.
16. Okay, hold on. I have to move my chat box because somebody's hiding behind here. Ananda, you're hiding behind my chat box.
24.
Boom, nicely done. Ashlyn.
14.
You guys, we have some serious transactions. Mary. Okay.
Actually, Leslie, I lied. It's 20.
Okay.
Mine's 16.
Is it Sheena or Shayna?
It's Sheena and 14.
Margarita, you have 24. And John, what was your number?
12.
12. Now I'm going to circle back. Shannon.
12.
12. Okay, Jen.
10.
Oh, you got 23. Is it 10?
Yeah.
All right. I wish I could give you guys prizes for guessing because I love classes with prizes. Okay, in this room, you guys, one of the coolest things about Ignite is you are now a class, right? Consider this is your class of people. You are going to launch together and you are going to be checking in with each other and cheering for each other and holding each other accountable for the next year. And guess how many transactions combined you are going to do as the class of 2020. Oh, you'll be the class of 2021.
280.
180, good. I see your
280 is what I was saying.
200, little less.
220.
Close.
230.
243 transactions. Said in a different way, you are going to change the lives of 243 families over the next year. And that's just year one of your careers. How's that feel? I'm going to be checking in on all of you guys.
That's why I got into real estate, is to help people realize that goal.
It's your bit, like, it's going to be what drives you, right?
It's that was the first thing I wrote down, and then you told me to do it personally, so I changed it.
You guys, and that is such a beautiful thing, right? And I want you to hear this one more time. You will be involved in helping people make one of the biggest financial decisions they will make in their entire life. What they will go through with you, guided by you, is equal to the stress that is involved in experiencing a death, a divorce, a job loss, or a health challenge. That is the range of emotion that they're going to go through when they are working with you. This cannot be taken lightly. You are truly helping people accomplish their dreams or helping protect their financial well-being. There will be people that you know in the next 12 months that will have to navigate a painful and difficult sale of their home because they can no longer afford to stay there. There will be people looking to you to preserve what is left of their financial wealth so that they can continue supporting their families. Like, that is going to be a hard place to be, but know that you guys are going to be there to help support them no matter what comes. And nobody can help them better than you. And I want you to take that to heart, because you guys may be launching your career, but what you have over any other agent is that nobody is going to take care of them and fight for them more than you will. So don't feel like you can't compete with an experienced agent, because you absolutely can. Awesome. All right, we're gonna shake that off. How is everybody feeling? Do we need to take a 5-minute break and regroup?
How are you feeling? That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna do, it's 2:55 now. We're gonna take a 5-minute break, you guys, and then come back, and then we're gonna do the last 2 skills, and then we are gonna put into place some action items to help you kind of, or before your next class. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right, see you guys in 5.
Great.
I'm back. All right, if you have your video off, then please come back. Yay! We're back. All righty. We ready to power through the rest of this? Thumbs up if we're ready to rock.
Ready.
Let's do it. All right, you guys, skill number 2. Woo! We made it through number 1. Now we're going to go to number 2. Skill number 2. Oh, we already did all this. Commitment to daily lead generation, right? Like we started this conversation saying the biggest difference between successful and unsuccessful agents, or more successful agents and less successful agents, is lead generation. So we are going to talk more about that now. So right here, just like if you were in a production factory, right, and you made widgets, the best CEOs, the best business people would know exactly how long and what was needed to produce a widget, right? Yeah. So that is just like us, right? Except our end product is successfully helping our clients buy, sell, or invest. But in order to best get that result, we need to know the time and activities that need to go in every step of the way. So we're going to go through, this is the life cycle of a transaction, right? So let's go through some of these questions. So how long does it take to get a buyer or seller to sign a contract for a sale or listing? Anyone take any guesses?
90 days.
90 days, it could.
I'm going to say a week, depending on the market.
The answer is in this category, right? 1 to 60 days or more, right? Because the truth is you might have somebody walk into your open house today and want to write an offer, right? That's a one-dayer. You might have somebody reach out to you on your website who's 12 months out. But on average, it's 1 to 60 days that will be in lead gen. Now, how long does it take? And that's to get, so we're going to nurture them, and then we're going to do the appointment, and then we are going to sign a contract, right? That contract can be in one of two forms, right? What we're looking for is an exclusive contract to represent. That can happen on the listing side in the form of a
listing agreement.
Listing agreement. And going to happen on the buyer side in the form of a
buyer's agreement.
An exclusive buyer service agreement. Guys, if you aren't using them or don't want to use them, I could give you the best advice I can give you is use exclusive buyer service agreements. There is nothing more frustrating than working with a client for 6 months and finding out that they went to an open house over the weekend and wrote an offer with somebody else. And it happens. Remember that an exclusive buyer service agreement is exactly the same as a listing contract. It's the exclusive right to work and get rewarded for your activities. The next thing that we're going to do is get them into contract. And then after we get them into a contract, how long does it typically take to close a transaction?
30 to 60 days.
30 to 60 days. It might depend on your area. It might depend on if we have any outlying conditions. For example, sometimes we're seeing delays now because of COVID, because appraisers getting out there or title companies not being available, etc. But typically they're going to say 30 to 60 days to close a transaction. Can it be done in less? Yes, it can also be done in less, especially if you got a cash buyer. But on average, between lead generation, appointment, agreement, contract, and that means escrow, and time to close, we're typically looking at a minimum of 90 days. Right? And said in another way, the activities that you do today show up 90 days from now. The lead generation that you do today is going to show up in your bank account 90 days from now. So this is the hard truth. They even put it in your book, right? For every day that you don't lead generate, 90 days later, you can expect no money, right? Sometimes we don't equate that. A choice to not lead generate today means you should not have an expectation 90 days from now of having a commission check put into your account. A choice to not lead generate for a week means during that week, 90 days from now, you should not expect money in your account. You choose to not lead generate for a month. Same thing. Do you see how this goes exponential? So that is why it is so important to do that. Now, the next question to add some more pain to that is, how many months can you go based on the financial reserves that you currently have? And are you willing to lead generate every single day so you never have to question whether you will have enough financial reserves in the future? All right. Yay, lead generation. All right, so let's talk now. These are the 4 questions we went through. I'm going to skip through those. So the lead generation funnel. Now we're going to start talking about, okay, they pounded into my head enough, Leslie. I need to lead generate. Like, how does that actually happen? So here's what we're going to talk about now is we're going to go into different lead generation styles in a future class. But for now, I just want you to keep this idea in your head that lead generation is a funnel. It starts from conversations that become leads, and those leads become appointments, and those appointments become agreements, those agreements become escrows, and then at the end of the day, it comes out as money. Yay, that is payday for you. Now, the reason we want to keep this image in your mind is because we need to cast our net wide so that our funnel is big enough to support the financial output that we put in our goals, right? And for each of you, the number of people that we need to have a conversation with and do an appointment with and sign a contract with may be different based on which lead generation style you choose, the level at which you're converting it, and your success in navigating, writing, and getting an accepted contract. Those are each different skill sets that are going to affect your outcome.
Hey, Leslie, can I share an aha moment I just had?
Yes.
So for my goal, I just had 60,000 plus my market center, which makes my goal 80,000. And when you just said that lead generation, you know, is our payday, 90 days out, I just figured out that if I just did lead generation on the weekdays and not on the weekends and divided that by how much I wanted to make, then each day I don't do my lead generation, I'm basically giving up $306 a day.
Woo! Let's take that a little bit farther. How many people are you going to call every day?
I don't have that down yet. I don't know. I don't think we've gotten to that point yet of how many people I have to contact in order to make my goal.
So in other words, and you'll find out that later, right? If we say 10 calls a day, each time you pick up that phone, it's worth $30. right? So, and this is one strategy that people use in order to motivate themselves. If your goal is 10 people a day and each call or each contact is worth $30, then I've had new agents when they launch that make a dollar bill, like this case would be a $30 bill. Sometimes it's a $100 bill. And what they do is if they don't do it, they have to burn it, right? Each call is money, right? So what is it that's going to motivate you to make that next call? Like when that phone feels like 1,000 pounds, right? That is $300 a day for you, or $30 per call. Now, for some of you, that number might be twice or 3 times or 4 times that, right? Wow. Did you want a job or did you want a career?
A career.
How many calls can you make in an hour? If every call's worth $30, how many can you make in an hour? Think about it differently. What if you called 20 people a day? That's a $600 day.
I have a question, Leslie. So, being fairly new, it's like, I don't really have 20 people to call that wouldn't sustain me for very long. So I'm just wondering, like, who are we all calling? I know that we're calling our database. I know we're calling people like potential leads, but it's like, who else are we calling? Like, how can I get up to that number and like sustain that number every day when I can't go backwards and start calling like my prior clients and et cetera. Like, I guess, who am I calling?
It's a great question. And the answer is that we're going to go through some of those options here very shortly, and you can start making your list. And the other thing is that throughout this course, we are going to continue to give you different ways of finding people to call, right? To call, to connect with, to make contact with, because in today's world, it's not just about calling, is it?
No.
Anybody have a database of people that won't take their calls? Like, we have to find another way to get to them, right? We can't use that as an excuse. We have to get to them. Because here's the thing, guys, 76% of the time, a client will list with you if you're the first person who talks to them. 76% of the time, a seller will list with the first agent they speak to. That has nothing to do with how many years you've been in the business or how many homes you've sold. 76% of the time, if you're the first person to talk to them about selling their home, you are going to get the listing. Now, your goal will be to be the first person to have an interaction with them, right? Not just send them a postcard, not just send them an email, because it's the first person who engages them in a two-way conversation. Cool. Okay, so what you should expect in Ignite moving forward is that you are going to call every session. For today's session, we went long in certain areas to set some big goals, so we may or may not get to it today, but you should fully expect to come prepared to call your people during Ignite. This is a big part of it. We are going to give you the scripts and we're going to cheer each other on while we do it. During those times, you will be putting yourself on mute and you're going to be doing some smiling and dialing. I don't want you to panic about this because you can set yourself up for success during these calls. My recommendation is that you bring a list of at least 5 to 15 names every single time that you can call. And I say 5 to 15 because you're going to dial until you get somebody on the phone. Now, for those of you who are still like, I don't know, put your mom on the list, put your siblings on the list, put your spouse on the list. Whatever it's going to take, we're going to expect you to make calls. And the other piece to that is sometimes the people we love the most are the ones we forget to ask for referrals. So it's never a bad thing to have that, especially as you're building up those confidence around those scripts. So just come prepared for it. And if you're not ready for cold calling or that's not a lead generation style for you, then make sure that you have a list that you feel safe and comfortable and confident with. There's going to be a couple things that are going to help you set up for success on those calls. One, we're going to be leveraging powerful scripts. We're going to be building relationships. We're going to be asking for them for business, and we're going to ask for referrals. And then we're always going to come from contribution on those calls. So now we're going to start getting into some of the ways that we're going to track those powerful habits. As part of Ignite, how many of you guys are familiar already with the 10-4? For those of you working with Mara, you probably are. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to go through some of these just to add some clarifying things. I'm going to bring some peace of mind on this 10-4. The 10-4 is one of the most powerful things that you can do as a launching or igniting agent. And the reason is because this is truly where activities become habits and habits become results. And what we have found to launch our people off, a very standardized activity tracker is going to get you those results. For those of you that are in Mara's PC coaching program, that looks like typically 80% or more are in real estate contracts in the first 30 days. That's awesome. By following this simple method called the 10-4. How the 10-4 is it's 4 activities, each with 10. So number 1 activity is you are going to grow and manage your database by adding 10 people to your database with complete or as complete contact information as you can. Note that these are 10 new additions to your database with full contact information. Now, where do we find them? So McKenna, back to your conversation. Sometimes people say, gosh, I don't have a sphere. I don't have a database, to which I would respond, how many people you got on your cell phone right now?
A lot.
How many people you have that are you friends on Facebook that you don't have in your cell phone yet?
Probably a lot. Mm-hmm.
How many friends and family members of your parents or your relatives are not on your database, your phone, or your Facebook yet? How many of you have vendor service lists already in place to help support your real estate career? Right? How many of you have your hairdresser, your dry cleaner, your landscaper in your database, right? I want you to think of it this way. If you were gifted your dream concert and you had the ability to give away as many free tickets as you possibly can, and all you needed to know was either their name or some way of getting a hold of them, by phone, email, text, social media, drive by their house, address, and you could give away as many tickets as possible, how many people would you have at your concert? That is your database. That is your sphere. And all we have to do is, of those people, get 10 of them into our database every single day with full information, as full of information as possible. Was that helpful, McKenna? That's how we find them.
Yes, that is helpful.
Not to mention, you do an open house and you meet people, that's more people in your database. You walk a neighborhood, that's more people in your database, right? You go to a networking event, that's more people in your database. I just threw out like a million different ways. I have a whole page of growing your database, but just to give you a few, that it should be at this point in growing your databases, remember it's not necessarily new people to you, it is new people into the database. Meaning they might be in your cell phone with just a phone number, and now I need to call them or track down their personal information so I can put them in my database. And guess what, you guys? Your realtors, if they own a home, you can find them. So not having their address is not an excuse now that you are a real estate professional, right? All right, the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna prospect, or we're gonna connect with a minimum of 10 people per day. Asterisks, you guys, this is not 10 calls a day. This is not 10 emails a day. This is not 10 text messages a day. This is connecting with 10 people per day. This is a two-way interaction. I'm going to clarify this because what it will say is that they used to say that phone was the only way to count them. Now in the modern era, we're going to make that a little broader. I want this to be a two-way conversation in which you specifically talk about real estate, okay? In my world, that can happen through an email conversation, a Zoom conversation, a phone conversation, an in-person conversation. That can be a text message conversation. But as long as they know that you're in the real estate business, that you specifically ask for the business and or a referral, then that counts as the connection. Okay. Number 3, you are going to follow up with 10 people per day in some capacity. This says a handwritten note or letter. I am going to expand that and say this is follow-up in any capacity that is a personal communication, i.e. a text message, an email, a handwritten note, a voicemail, a personal message on social media, in which you are just acknowledging and thanking them for the interaction that you've had, or following up with them on an action item from a previous conversation. Is that helpful? And then the 4th thing that you're going to do in the 10-4 is going to be preview 10 homes for sale every day. We can do that digitally, right? Like just looking at 10 home properties available. And you're going to preview a minimum of 10 homes per week. Now, previewing 10 homes means if you're showing houses, awesome, that counts, right? If you're going out on broker's tour and you're looking at homes, those count. Right? If you're going to be doing an open house or multiple open houses, those houses count. Are you entering homes that are currently on the market right now? Right? And the entire purpose of this is for you to get to know the market that you are in. And John, what's the difference between follow-up and prospecting? Your prospecting is the conversation. Your follow-up is the activity following prospecting. Now, who's overwhelmed by the 10-4? Okay, let me help remove a limiting belief. I have a phone number in my cell phone. I want to add them to my database. So I call them and have a conversation, letting them know that the exciting news that I am now a licensed real estate professional. And who do they know that is looking to sell, buy, or invest in real estate? By the way, can I add you to my information? I do not send spam, right? Perfect, I collect their information. Guess what? Number 1, I added them to my database. Number 2, I talked to them in person. And number 3, I send them a text saying, it was such a pleasure connecting with you today. Please keep me in mind if you come across anybody who's looking to sell, buy, or invest. I literally did 3 with 1 person. Does that make it easier? Even easier if they go, if you say, hey, would you be interested in a free current market analysis on your home? Fantastic. Then you do a CMA digitally, and I just clicked off the 10 houses that I need to preview digitally today. I can literally cover 4 if the same person. And it gets easier, right? Okay. Whew, success tracking. All right, you guys, so how do we keep track of this? Well, there is a couple of different ways that you can keep track of it. I'm going to click back over to remember that if you are on, sorry, I have multiple things, this page, you have a My Tracker right here. So for those of you that want to track this digitally, you can click on My Tracker and it's going to take you to this page and you can enter your daily 10-4 numbers and it'll keep track of everything digitally that you're doing. The other, or if you want to do it on your own through a spreadsheet or another method that you can keep track of them, that's fine too. The system that is the best system is the one that you will commit to. For those of you that have your productivity coach, they might actually be collecting those numbers to make sure that you are staying on track with your 10-4 goals. Any questions about the My Tracker? All right, whew, we're just rocking. Okay, skill number 3, using influencing sales language. Guys, we started the day talking about E2P. Anybody remember what that was?
Entrepreneurial to productivity.
Purposeful, good.
Purposeful.
Entrepreneurial to purposeful, right? And remember we talked about those 5 things. Here they are again. Focus, strategic options, models, systems, and accountability. If you're operating an entrepreneurial style, you're doing what comes natural, which is drive, enthusiasm, intuition, natural behavior, and spontaneity. Now, guys, if we continue to operate our entire real estate career just in entrepreneurial style, what's going to happen? Says
We'll
it right
hit a
there.
ceiling.
What was that?
We'll hit a ceiling.
You're going to hit a ceiling. And guys, bumping your head up against the same ceiling, you'll see it right there. Disappointment, resignation, greener pastures. What does that mean?
Switching.
There is a reason why 87% of real estate agents do not make it to their 12-month anniversary. You guys, this is about getting purposeful. Now, there's going to be many of you that might operate in entrepreneurial for the first couple of years of your real estate career. And the bottom line is, guys, is that you are choosing to do it the hard way. And the hard way is going to lead to frustration, and it can possibly lead to burnout. So if you're feeling frustration, fascination, resentment, you're feeling like you're not getting the results that you're looking for, then it's time to go back and say, am I being entrepreneurial or am I being purposeful? All right, let's keep rocking. Oh, scripts are cool. It literally says in the book.
I have a quick question or comment.
Yeah.
I would think most of your clients are. I would think most of them would want you to be more purposeful when you're dealing with them, because they probably want to be kind of led a certain way. In a way. It kind of makes you look like maybe you know what you're doing more if you are more purposeful instead of entrepreneurial.
It shows your level of professionalism, right? Like that you're just not doing like fly by night, right? Like nothing will make your clients more nervous or anxious, right, if they feel like you're being reactionary instead of proactive. Like if they're having to chase you down because you can't keep track of your schedule or contracts, right, that's going to be a problem.
Right.
All right, you guys, scripts are cool. So let's talk about scripts for a second. Oh, and by the way, let me fill in. Do you guys have gaps on page 35? Do you have like a sentence in the middle of your page that has missing words on it? Okay, I'll tell you what those words are. Talking to people about their real estate needs and the needs of people they know. And then I want you to write at the bottom of your page really big, don't be a secret agent. Okay, so let's get into some scripts. Page 36. Scripts are cool. We're going to go through the purpose of scripts, the benefits of scripts, learning scripts, and calling with scripts. Okay, so here's the deal. How many of you guys love scripts? I love scripts. I'm like, yay, scripts. Okay, how many of you use scripts? Danielle, yeah? So I see lots of hands now. So one of the first things I like to say about scripts is we need to break down the mindset or the objection of doing scripts. Because the truth is that every single person already uses scripts. right? We all use scripts. We use them as a spouse. We use them as a sibling. We use them as a mother. We use them in business, right? Like when they say, how can I help you? And you say, I'm just looking. Guys, that's a script, right? Be quiet or we're going to turn the car around. That's a script, right? Like you guys are using scripts on a daily basis. You just don't realize it because they are so ingrained in your mind and your speech patterns. But learning new scripts is difficult because it requires us to change typically a speech pattern, a belief, an action, or something that we have established as a habit. And why that's really important is because that the more we are scripted, there is the beautiful things start happening. 1, we have less stress. 2, we look professional. Like 3, we can help people get to here from here to there faster because it's not taking us as long to get there. And most importantly, we can help seamlessly guide them through a transaction. So we're going to go through very quickly the purpose of a script, right? Your scripts need to be 100% customer oriented and tell the benefit the customer, and benefits the customer throughout the entire conversation. This is what a little something I call WIFM, W-I-F-M. What's in it for me? Your scripts need to explain what's in it for me for each of your clients, right? That keeps them at the center of the conversation because me is them, not you, right? How many of you guys feel proficient on the DISC personality assessment?
I don't think I know what that is. DISC personality assessment.
If you have not taken the DISC, go on to Tony Robbins and take the DISC, D-I-S-C. It is one of the greatest things that you can do as a salesperson. And the most important thing is to know your own communication style and be a professional to identify other people's communication style so that as a professional, I can adapt what I'm saying, how I'm saying, the words that I'm using, and the pace and tone that I'm using so that they, as my client, can receive the information. If I were to rewind my clock and start my real estate career, I so wish that I understood the DISC personality assessment when I started in this industry at 19 years old. I would be retired by now. Right? Unfortunately, I spent the first 10 years of my career trying to figure out why nobody got it. And I was like, oh, it's me. It's me. I'm just not explaining it right. So,
can you put it in the chat box where we can find that?
Yeah, I'll grab it here at our next little break. In fact, I'll do it here really quickly. So before we get started, so that's the biggest thing about scripts is we remember that as professionals, we're learning them to help our clients navigate the path, right? And that sometimes will take away that feeling of I have to do this. All right, we are going to hear from the master himself and watch a little video on how to use scripts. Okay.
Hi, I'm Jeff Glover, and I'm going to tell you the top 5 things that you need to know about using scripts. Step 1, you're going to need to get your scripts from a top agent of the office, your team leader, a math coach, or of course, Keller Williams University. Step 2, we're going to need to do a total transformation of instead of talking and telling, of asking questions. Selling isn't telling, selling is asking a series of questions that leads to desired response. So instead of talking so much, we need to get in the habit of asking questions. And asking questions gives us control of the conversation. Control of the conversation gives us our ultimate outcome, which is an appointment set or closing. Step 3, we need to listen with good intentions. Well, what I mean by that is we need to listen to their answers instead of just listening to them talk and asking another question that comes to mind. For example, instead of asking a seller where they're moving to and then going on to the next question, how soon would you like to be there? Ask them, where are you moving to? And when they give you a response, ask them, what takes you there? Step 4 in becoming better at scripts is we need to learn to mimic, mirror, and match the prospect. What I mean by that is we have to listen to their tone of voice. We have to speed up or slow down based on how fast the prospect is talking. That means when they respond and say, we're moving to Toledo. Oh, Toledo, that's exciting. What takes you there? 93% of communication is body language and tonality. And that means only 7% are the words that we say or the questions that we ask. Step 5, we need to take these 5 points and practice them daily. If you think of NFL teams, they practice 50, 60 hours on the practice field for a 1-hour game. Our game is our presentations and our appointments, and we need to practice daily. Everything that we've learned every single day before we meet with our clients. When it comes to scripting, my biggest aha is that everybody has their own scripts. We're pre-programmed to have scripts, and we're talking and asking questions that are scripted. However, what we found is that most of our own scripts are no good. And so we have to learn the right scripts, the right questions to maintain control of the conversation. Thanks for watching KW Connect. Make it a great day.
Make it a great day. I love it. Okay, so the benefits of a script. Once again, you guys, scripts give us the confidence to do our job. They allow us to stay focused and in the present moment. They provide consistency in what we say and do. This is a big one for you guys as launching agents, is they are going to reduce stress in your world. When you feel confident that you have a script or something in your memory bank to rely on, you don't have to say, I don't know as much. Right? They're going to make you look more professional. They're going to help your clients get from here to there faster. Are there any other benefits that you guys can think of that we didn't cover? Get you out of your head. Yes.
I think
I love it.
that scripts can help ease some of that anxiety when you're especially first starting to call people. That's the one thing I did appreciate about the scripts that I had to use at one of my old jobs, is that the tools were in front of me, and it at least gave me a launching pad for the discussion and helped me get into it with more ease and less anxiety. And then after that, it could be more spontaneous.
I love it. Yes, absolutely. You guys, and for those of you who are young on this call, right? Like, I'm going to go through another limiting belief I coach a lot of young agents on, is if you have a fear that they're not going to work with you because of your age, you will win or lose a client in the first 2 sentences out of your mouth. Make sure that they are good. Right? They will not question your age or your experience, and that goes for all of you. They're not going to question your age or your experience if you show up with confidence. You show up nervous about your own ability, and they sense that, then you're going to give them reason to question whether they should work with you or not. In fact, what I want you guys to know is I love teaching at Ignite, and I love launching careers. I would say most of the people that I've ever trained, their clients had absolutely zero idea that it was their first real estate transaction. Wouldn't that be cool? Oh, thank you for yes, TonyRobbins.com, and click take the assessment. You can take the free one. Thank you. That's awesome. All right, so how do we go about learning scripts? We're going to, oh, ignore that. So here's the deal. We're going to go through some best practices of learning scripts on page 39. So in order to internalize a script, that's really what we're doing, is we're internalizing them by starting to memorize them. So there's a couple of ground rules that we're going to say when we go through doing scripts that are going to help you along the way. Number 1, there's a whole list on the next page of how to do a script. I'm going to give you a modified. There's a 6-step plan on the next page that says read, repeat, read, say entire script. I'm going to give you some other best practices. Number 1, you do not have the right to alter a script until you have mastered it. Okay? You do not, I'm going to repeat that. You have not yet earned the right to to alter a script until you have mastered it. The reason being is these scripts are written by highly successful people. They work. And if in your mind you say, that doesn't sound like me, the question is, doesn't sound like you yet, or maybe sounding like you may not get you the results that you're looking for. Okay? So first, when we learn a script, we do not alter it. We read it, we repeat it, and we learn it exactly how it's written. At that point, we earn the right to alter it, to modify for our own personality. In addition to that, you guys, you are never going to remember on the fly every word of a script. So you are going to remember nuggets and phrases of a script. So learn it perfect so those nuggets or phrases are there at their highest impact when you need to rely on them. Okay? Number 2, when you are doing script practice, I recommend a couple of things. Number 1, do it on a regular basis. If you guys aren't already doing script practices, find accountability partners and do them. On our shared network calendar, there is a daily script practice from on Monday through Thursday that you can join via Zoom for other agents that are doing script practice. So if that could be a great method for you, or find an accountability partner that you are spending a couple minutes every single day with, ideally right before you get on the phones. Number 2, like, record yourself saying the script. Listen back. Now, here's some other fun things that I do. What I recommend when you are learning a script is to sit down and read it 5 times, beginning to end. Right? You're going to read it 5 times, beginning to the end, quietly, so you can really internalize it. Then you stand up, and I want you to read it out loud 5 times from beginning to end. Do not stop. Don't make any comments. Don't make any alterations. In those 5 times that you are saying it out loud, I want you to follow. 1, read it normal. 2, read it laughing. 3, read it angry. And then read it 2 more times normal. Okay? The reason this is an advanced technique of script learning, because number 1, remember, emotion will embed it in your brain. In addition to that, by reading it in different emotional levels, it will even out your highs and lows when you go to deliver the actual script. Okay? Then after you have done that, then you're going to then put it down and recite as much of it that you can by memory. And at that point, you should be doing it in front of a mirror and or recording yourself to play it back. All right, what do you guys think about those script practices?
Thank you.
Yeah. This is also a great practice if you're not quite comfortable yet, script practicing in a big group. Right? Like if you did this for 2 weeks straight with scripts, you'd feel pretty confident stepping into a script practice with people, right? I would probably guess you're going to be probably one of the best scripters on that particular script if you actually did that. So what you're going to do is there's some other memorization techniques on page 40. They're also great. I just told you the ones that I use over time. So we're going to go to page 41 because we're going to actually do some scripts. Now, typically, if we were having a live class, what we would do at this point is we would break you guys up to actually go through read scripts together. So since we're not having a live class and I can't, for some reason, they have disabled the ability to put you in rooms, we're going to do it a little bit differently today so we can still accomplish the essence of this and then come back together. So what I'm going to ask each of you to do is on page 43 and 44, there are scripts, okay? There is one that's a new real estate. I'm new to real estate. One that says I'm new to Keller Williams. One that says remind them you're in real estate. Or number 4, I'm new to the area. So this is what you're going to do is I'm going to ask each of you to turn yourselves off on mute. I want you to stand up for wherever you are. I want you to choose one of these scripts and I want you to read it from beginning to end without stopping. And then when you're done, come back to us. Sound good? Okay, everybody stand and go.
You cut out for a second. Did you want us to just pick one or read the first one?
Just pick one, whichever one is the most relevant to you. All right, y'all, how did that go?
It does not feel natural.
Did
Definitely
not
awkward.
feel natural.
Awkward.
Awkward, right? So what are we gonna do about that? Do you think that if you read it to yourself 5 times and then did that 5 more times that it might sound a little better?
Well, it seems like it did get easier the more I read it. It felt more comfortable each time.
Sure did. Now, I'm going to give you a little secret, and I want you to pull your pens out because I have master scripts, so I've earned the right to do this, and this is going to help you. Under the section where it says on the rest of the script over here, and it says, and I'd like to ask who might you know from work, your neighborhood, or group you belong to who's interested in buying or selling a home or investing in real estate. I'm going to give you a powerful change to that, okay? It's going to start the same, and it says, like, who do you know from your neighborhood or group that you belong to who is interested in selling a house, buying a home, or investing in real estate? In that order. Who do you know that is interested in selling a house, buying a home, or investing in real estate? There you go. I just leveled up your script. Now, very quickly, I'm going to give you the explanation. We sell houses because we are removing emotional attachment, right? We list houses. We help them buy homes. We're building an emotional attachment, or we help them invest in real estate, neutral, no emotion attached. That's number 1, why we do that. Number 2, I want you to change every script in here to always ask for the listing first, not the buy, okay? Because listings get you more buyers. Buyers don't always get you more listings, and right now, the biggest challenge we have in the industry is a shortage of listing inventory. So if you only can get 1 point across, the point is do you or do you know somebody who wants to sell a house? Helpful? Whew, Okay, so this is your homework, you guys. I want you to go through the exercise after this call, and I want you to read it 5 more times to yourself. I want you to stand and say it 5 times, and then I want you to call 5 people that you know and love that are going to give you the grace to help you build the confidence around this one script. And I don't care if you call with a disclosure and say, Mom, I'm working on a script, and I really need you to listen to me. Right? Ideally, you don't have to give that disclosure, but if this is what it takes to build your confidence so that 6th call can be to somebody that you don't know as much, you feel awesome about that call. Sound good?
Hey, Leslie.
Yeah.
I have a question. So I've worked with scripts before, and obviously these are written this way for a reason, because they work. Now, when we're talking about something that's outside of our initial sphere of influence, like for me, I have a couple of lists that I've been calling. Generally, when I call people, even if I start out with this, some of the first questions out of their mouth before I can even get through these lines of the script is like, well, where did you get my information from? And a bunch of other questions. And oftentimes throughout the script, sometimes you don't get to read through it the way that we're practicing right now. When you hit those kinds of hiccups and things like that, what do you typically recommend doing? Just answering the question and continuing on with the script, or what are your insights on that?
Yeah, if you can answer the question and get back on track, awesome. But this is also the reason why I want you to have a whole arsenal of scripts, right? So you guys, if this one script isn't something that's resonating with what you're doing right now in your business, go download the Ignite Script Practice book and find one in there. And the more scripts that you have, the easier you'll be able to navigate those like things that are going to throw you off.
Awesome, thank you.
Of course. Okay, we're gonna rock and roll. Skill number 4, we're bringing it back. So once again, so you have 2 homework assignments. Number 1, finish like practicing your script, and I want you to call 5 people who know, love, and trust you, and that you can build your confidence. And then the next thing is I want you to write them a personal note, right? Thanking them for your time, for their time. That's page 46. You have 2 homework assignments. Okay, number 4, skill, be accountable to your big why and monetary goals. You are going to do this like your to-do list or your accountability list. We are going to blaze through this. We've kind of gone deep and I added some extra material, so I apologize. I'm going to like cruise through some additional things, but we're really going to wrap up with some activity items. Number 1, so be accountable. You guys, we need to follow an action plan or a strategic plan to help us hit our goals. Right? So here are some ways of doing this. Number 1, we need to develop and prioritize a plan. Now, here's the thing we talked about is the 80-20 rule. We need to make sure that our strategic plan emphasizes the things that are our 20%, right? So the first thing we're going to do in an action plan is we're going to make a list, right? Oftentimes called a to-do list. Then we're going to prune it down, right? We are going to decide if this is actually something that is important or if it should be deleted from our list or delegated to somebody else. Does it support our 20%? And then the most important aspect of this is prioritization. Prioritization will change it from a to-do list to a success list. Okay? The next thing that you're going to do is you're going to determine whether each activity on the list is important or urgent, right? These are defined as important activities have an outcome that leads to us achieving our goals, whether those are professional or personal. These are your 20% items, the ones that are the most dollar productive. However, urgent is a little different. Urgent activities demand immediate attention because the consequences of not dealing with them are immediate. So here's my question. Is just because it's urgent, is it always important? The answer is no, right? There might be a consequence if we don't get to it, But guess what? That consequence could be not wasting your time. There are things that are going to happen in every single day, right? Like somebody knocks on my door, right? That's urgent. It needs immediate attention. The consequence might be that I don't sign for a package, or you know what? They just leave it and go away. Both of them are consequences, but if I'm in my 20%, I'm not getting up to answer the door. Because it was urgent, it wasn't important. So a good way to think about that is remember that we want to make sure that we're focusing on our one thing, and that is why we prioritize. So the One Thing book is an incredible book that you should read after the MREA, and it's going to ask a very compelling question. So as you're making that list and going through prioritization, you should be prioritizing in this manner. What is the one thing I can do such by doing it, everything else will be easier or irrelevant? Okay? The one thing I can do such by doing it, everything else will be easier or irrelevant. And the reason you need to do this, you guys, is because human nature loves the endorphin rush of checking boxes. And checking boxes rarely allows us to hit our big goals, because we will go to the thing that we can check the fastest to get that endorphin rush, right? And the problem is that oftentimes the most important things are not the fastest things to check off the list. So as we go through this is a couple of conversations. We're going to go through this exercise very quickly. You get to choose, is this important or urgent, right? Let's just do this thumbs up, thumbs down. Okay, return a call to a person inquiring about a listing. Is it important? That's a top 20% activity, right? That person might want to buy a house. Is it urgent? It's urgent, right? Typically, people will work with you based on how quickly you return that. Okay, schedule a training class on contracts. Is it important? Very important. Is it urgent? Right? It could become urgent if you didn't prioritize it, and now you need to write an offer and you didn't take the class, right? Lack of planning on your part does not constitute a crisis on mine, right? Plan ahead, it's important. It only becomes urgent if you have procrastinated on it. Your daily 10-4, important? Urgent? Order new business cards. Important? Maybe. They didn't even say it was important. Urgent? Now, put marketing material together for meetings with seller next week. Important? Mm-hmm. Urgent? Right? Update my Facebook. They say not important or urgent. I will make an asterisk to say, as long as you have the proper marketing and advertising on your Facebook page, then it becomes not important or urgent. But until that's done, get that done. Okay, pick up dry cleaning before they close. Important? Urgent. Urgent. Send husband to get dry cleaning before they close. Important. Lead generate. Important? Urgent. Yes, awesome, you guys. It's really important to stay focused on this so you guys can stay in your top 20%. The next thing I'm gonna say is you guys, and I apologize for running a little late, is I want you guys to live by your calendar, right? And this is the mantra that we say. If it is not on your calendar, it does not exist. Okay, so each one of you need to be creating what I call your perfect week, which is your perfect week in real estate, which will usually encompass 6 days of activity in some capacity. I'm going to give you some best tips on this as you navigate the launch of your career, right? Here's the truth. Successful agents plan their days and stick to their plan. Cannot express this enough, right? Truly, I live and die by the mantra of if it's not on my calendar, it does not exist. And that is everything in my life, okay? We time block for the important activities. Time blocking is setting aside the important, everything that is important for my big why, and everything that is important as a 20% activity in my business is time blocked for. Okay, couple of tips and tricks for you. Once again, we started this conversation with our big why. So as you pull out your weekly calendar to create your perfect week, the first thing I want you to do is I want you to block out the commitment of time that you have made to your family. Is there a time that you're going to be having dinner? Do you help your kids with study, right? Like, what does that look like that you made a personal commitment as part of your big why that you need to remove from your schedule? Then what is left at that point needs to be prioritized in manner of importance of your top 20%, starting with what hours are you going to lead generate every day, or at least 5 to 6 days a week? What days are you going to be showing properties? I actually time block all of my appointments as well before I set them. What days are you going to have open houses if that's part of your lead generation style? Okay. Once we have time blocked for those activities and we've created the important week, what we say is it goes into your calendar, whatever way you're doing it, whether it's one of those old school ones that you're writing on, or whether it's going to be in your computer. I manage everything on my calendar, right? Everything is in there. It is color coded in order of importance and priority. I pre-book all of my recruiting appointments, my lead generation time, and my contract appointments. So that way when I'm on the call and I say I'm available Wednesday at 2 or Thursday at 4, I already know those are the times in my schedule that I have available for appointments. Number 2, no skipping. If you have decided that it's going to take 10 conversations a day to hit your goal, then how long is it going to take you to have those 10 conversations? Is it 2 hours? Is it 3 hours? Is it an hour? Okay, you can't skip that because 90 days from now, the result will be we don't have anything in. So if you ever have an emergency come up in your life, and they happen, if you erase it, we have to replace it. Means if I didn't get my 2 hours in today, those 2 hours have to go somewhere else. Okay, and allow no interruptions, which means build a bunker around your time block. That can be difficult in the world of COVID, right? Working from home. For those of you, my recommendation is to have a caring conversation with your family and the loved ones that might cause interruption during your day. In addition to that, I'm going to give you a couple of tips and tricks that I learned that your family may need to get accustomed to. Number 1, everything in your world becomes an appointment. I don't care if you're boarding a plane to go on vacation, it's an appointment. I don't care if you're picking up your kids from swim practice, it's an appointment. I don't care if it's a date with your husband, it's an appointment. I don't care if it's a buyer consultation, it's an appointment. And the reason that you do this is 1, appointments go in your calendar. 2, people tend not to bother you when you're in an appointment. Number 3, you will never have to remember what you told somebody you were doing because you always just say, I am sorry, I already have an appointment scheduled at that time. And for those of you who need to have guarded time for family time, you will never have a client complain that say you're not available when you say, I'm really sorry, I'm not available between 5 and 6. I already have an appointment. Well, that appointment is having dinner with your family, right? Because if they do want to interrupt an appointment, maybe that's not somebody we want to work with anyway. Now, you also need to tell your family that you're going to start referring to them as appointments, because that's a super fun conversation. And typically the conversation goes something like this. honey, I know that you don't like it when I call you an appointment. However, this is the best way that I can protect and honor our time together. So please know I'm going to reference this as an appointment, but that appointment is our weekly date night. And then what's going to happen is sooner or later, your significant other, your kid's they're going to be going on that phone like, I'm available Wednesday at 3, and they're like, nope, you've got an appointment. And they're going to start defending for you. But it gets weird if you don't tell them. All right, you guys, that is it. You live and die by your calendar. We talked about who will hold you accountable. You guys, the other conversation is at KW, you have a ton of accountability, right? Look around this room. You have 21 people that are here in it with you as your class, your comrades to help you navigate these times. You have productivity coaches, you have team leaders, you have an entire executive leadership team, you have an ALC, you have just the agents in the market center. And my recommendation is that you also get an accountability partner with one of your fellow comrades on this call. And that is going to help you stay accountable to your Ignite because they know what you're going through. They're going to be there to help guide you and keep you motivated and moving forward. There's a couple of rules that I really emphasize if you're going to have an accountability partner, right? They're in your book. You need to make it a safe place to share. You need to be checking in with each other. You need to be holding each other accountable to your goals. You need to be committing to each other. There is nothing worse than signing up to have a commitment to an accountability partner and then having them not hold up their side. So be very clear when you choose an accountability partner what your expectation of them is. In addition to that, here are some extra tips in addition to the 9 that they've given you. When you have an appointment with your accountability partner, honor it. You do not schedule over it. You have committed to each other. Number 2, repeat each other's goals. If McKenna says my goal is to talk to 20 people today and list a house, I'm going to say, McKenna, you're going to rock this day. You're going to talk to 20 people and you're going to list a house. Will you text me when you've got that listing in contract, right? Affirm what they're doing so that they can hear it back. And then the next thing is you guys, keep it professional during your accountability time. One of the biggest reasons accountability fails is because you take what should be a 5 or 7 minute conversation every day and it turns into an hour and then you're like, I don't got time in this in my life, right? This is accountability time. Your call should be no more than 7 minutes together, or depending on what you're doing, 15 minutes together, then you're on to have a powerful day. You want to talk about what you did on the weekend or the amazing things that you're like doing but that are social, schedule a social time for that. Okay, whew, my goodness, I get excited about this kind of stuff. All right, the last thing is as we wrapped up today, is for those of you who have decided you can participate in the full Ignite, which I fully hope that you do, you are going to get more into the strategic pieces of that. Today was really just to launch you into Ignite, to give you some expectations, to get you some motivation, to secure your big why. There are 2 agreements in your Ignite material. Number 1 of them is your agreement and expectation of yourself. And by signing this, you are committing to your productivity coach, to your team leader, or whoever you are going to be helping hold you accountable, that you are going to participate in all aspects of Ignite and this foundational training. The second one is your family or significant other agreement. For those of you who do have family or significant others in your world, what we find is the most successful people in real estate, remember that we do not succeed alone. If you are not If your loved ones are not on board with what you're going to be going through in the next 6 weeks, you might have some additional stress in your life. So talk to them about the program that you are undergoing and the reason why you're doing it, because this industry has an 87% failure rate in 12 months, and those who go through this program have an 80% success rate. So the next 6 weeks are going to be critical in the launch of your career, which means you may be investing more time, energy, and effort, which means they may have to be picking up some of the other things for the next 6 weeks while you navigate this class. And then, of course, putting it all together, you have an action plan on page 65. For those, just kind of in summary, we want you to finish up your big why. If you're happy with what you put together today, awesome. My recommendation is to memorialize it, put it somewhere where you can see it. You're going to complete your daily 10-4 activities every day or 6 days a week. You're going to track your activities. You're going to create your ideal week or your time block calendar. You're going to schedule your regular accountability time if you've established accountability partner. You're going to set up your script practice for those of you who want to do that as well. You're going to, go through your scripts, and based on your scripts, remember, you're going to do that 5 times, and then you're going to call 5 people who know and love and trust you, and then you're going to send them a thank you note to practice. And then you're going to do your mission for the next class that's coming up on Wednesday. Aubrey Martin is amazing. You guys cannot miss that one. She is an incredible rock star. She is also a solo agent who's on track to do 70 units this year, and it is her 3rd year in the business, so she is one you don't want to miss. And then, of course, discuss with your family your commitments. Whew! That was a long 3 hours. Let's wrap it up with this. What ahas or takeaways do you guys have after today?
The dressing room analogy that you gave us was so helpful for me. I love that, and I'm really excited about it, and that doesn't intimidate me as much. So thank you for that.
My pleasure. The nuggets we learn along the way. Who else has one?
The big why should, or most likely, is personal. Don't be afraid to make it that way.
Awesome. Yes, very, very personal. Be proud, and you don't have to share it with anyone.
When you were talking about scripts and saying how we use scripts every day, that kind of, because sometimes I can feel a little bit, like afraid of scripts because I don't want to sound like robotic. Like, because I'm the person who will read it and be like, I don't talk like that, And so for you being like, you use scripts every day, I'm like, okay, well, I do, like, hey, how are you doing? Oh, good, great. You know what I mean? Like, it's a constant thing. So that made it feel more like, I don't know, natural almost.
It is. It is natural with what the scripts use now, and soon your real estate scripts will be as well. And then, Andrew, to answer your question, you're going to read it to yourself 5 times, you're going to read it out loud 5 times, and then you're going to connect with 5 people to use it. Okay? Perfect. Awesome, you guys. Well, thank you for sharing this time with me today. I appreciate all of you. I'm so excited to see where this journey takes you. You've got a lineup of incredible instructors. Please make sure you're tapping into the resources. One of the biggest things I can say is remember that KW is a culture of sharing. We believe in running things through what we call your R&D department, which is rip off and duplicate. That is what open sharing means. Take this time, absorb as much as you can, take from people who've walked before you. That will help you get from here to there faster. And of course, if there's anything that I can do to help you along the way, my cell phone number is 503-407-7606. I will type it into the thing right now. And my email address is lesliehilbert@kw.com. There you go. Thank you guys. Have a powerful day and have fun on Wednesday with Aubrey.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Have a good one. Thank you.
Thank you.